was in the display case too. But the thing is, he
Okay, check this out. I'm listening to Boxing Ego, and I ain't gonna lie, this dude, him and his channel, a lot of times he get on my nerves. Okay, a lot of times he gets on my nerves, and he's making good points in this video, but he's still getting on my nerves. Okay, but I want to highlight some of the good points he's making. So we're gonna review his video and do commentary on those points, and then I want to scooch over to my man, Jedediah Brown. Okay, because he got something going on with Claressa, and he's exposing some things on Claressa. All right, but we gotta give credit because from what I understand, all this came from her cousin Shalita. So while I go ahead and get my grub on because I'm finna hit the gym. Hey, 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 hey. Happy, happy. Hit the like. Hit the like. You always hop up over here and then you don't want to hit the like. Okay, so since he can talk about Claressa doing an eating video, I'm going to do an eating video. Just some crap I got from the store. Some little turkey wrap. And I got my favorite popcorn. And for the next 2 days, I will be having niente, aka nothing. Shout out to my boy Beans. I ain't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing all right. Shout out to Justin. Okay, you already know. And let's get it popping. So let me rewind this a little bit. So he's talking about Claressa. He's talking about the house, but I want to get this from Jedediah. It's better coming from Jedediah. Now, this part that he's talking about with Claressa in the museum, bro, I can't even go with you on that, but I'm not going to get into it because that's really not what I want to talk about. And I just don't have the energy. I don't have the energy because this dude do be halfway slow. Okay? This boxing ego dude. But let's see. So he's talking about Claressa being a bully, which we all should know this, but I'm going to speed him up too because I ain't going to stay on his video too long, but he breaks it down pretty well.
they just get to work a deal with the mayor, and I scratch your back, you scratch my.
Let's get past that a little bit.
After bragging and calling fans broke, after doing the money phone, putting a bando on your arm and sprawling out the cash,
Oh,
right?
she's a kid.
And they're saying you went
Why she look bald
outside of
headed?
pretty much the rules or fairness
Hit the light.
to try to salvage a deal with the mayor instead of paying
Why
your
she
bill,
look
the
bald?
7K. And she talking about,
Her hairline go all
welcome
the way
to
back here.
another edition of Guo Eats. Claressa explains it all. So now we got to watch you eat, but the world wants to hear you respond to your cousin like you do.
Welcome to another day of woke eats.
She ignore what she wanna ignore. Hey, let me ask y'all a
Wow.
question. Which, I mean, I don't like Claressa, but I hope she don't. And if she does, then hey, hey, hey. We will see. But has she responded to the remedies yet? Mm. Can you imagine how that conversation went with her and Pap? I bet you Pap said, "Don't you? If you do, I'm leaving your ass." Oh no, Pap is not finna play that. Mm-mm. But she can be embarrassed with him trying to do a diss against 50. Pap can't rap. Mm-mm.
This can't be
Today
serious.
we got grilled branzino. I love me a house salad.
This can't be
Hold
real,
on.
bro.
I'm gonna say something. He can ready to go in on her because of how she eats. Claressa doesn't have a good metabolism. Now, I can understand her eating because when you work out, you gonna eat. If you're athletic and you work out on a regular, you gonna eat. Girl or boy, you gonna eat. If you work out especially if you're lifting weights, baby, you can put something down, and people just won't understand. But that's just refueling your body. All right, it's refueling your body. But trust me, now I get that, and I give her that grace. But what I noticed from watching her over the years, she doesn't have a good metabolism, and all you gotta do is look at her mama. Okay, fortunately for me, I'm 99.9% my father. So
This is the response. Watching the Guo eat grilled branzino in a house salad. Unbelievable. Like, I don't understand at this point. Claressa Shields, she makes it far too easy. Far too easy. But let's watch the Guo eat on Claressa Explains It
she
All.
only
Shall we?
responds to things
Welcome to another
that
day
she
of
thinks she
woke.
winning on. Yeah.
Today we got grilled branzino. I love me a house salad.
Why she say today we got grilled branzino like she made it? Like today, like she put it on the menu, like chef that up. Do you understand what I'm saying? She was like, today we're eating tuna tartare. Like, you ain't make that. Come on.
I love me a house salad.
That was really corny.
And why I got a cut lemon? Remember Claressa was putting them whole lemons. I thought you like your lemons whole with the rind and the peel on it.
See,
Why
he be
they got
on
a
some
cut
petty
lemon? See? So you be eating at these spots and they be showing you how to cook, but then you make your short ribs and you gonna put the whole lemon up in that. Come on. Why? I just peeped this. Why does it look like it takes immense concentration for her to dish this food out?
I
Just look
noticed
at her
that.
facial expression. It looks like she has to really concentrate. I'm being real.
Today we got grilled branzino.
She's not
Like, she's
conscious
gonna
of
fuck.
the
House
expression
salad.
on her face.
You see, like, the focus? She act like it's a world title fight. Chill out.
And y'all know me. I don't eat a lot of my meals without me having no rice.
She always
First of
gotta
all,
feel something.
why does she always say, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, but you got all types of fireflies and light bugs because you're using a filter? You see what I'm saying? There's all kind of, like, mystical sparkles and pixie dust. Like, you're using a filter. Who uses a filter to eat a meal? Like, you're just trying to get a square meal in, and you're like, today I'm going to eat, and you put a filter on? I don't know. This is weird. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section if y'all put filters on to record an eat video. Because I was wondering why I kept seeing all this, like,
A girl
sparkling
might.
lights, and, man, she got a
Yeah.
filter on.
But
And then she
she-
be calling everybody else ugly and say, I'm beautiful, and y'all just ugly, but then you wearing a filter to eat. That's just weird.
And y'all know me.
Because she
I
knows
don't
she
eat
ain't.
a lot of my meals without me having no rice. But I do slow it down, you know what I mean? You gotta cut weight, you gotta cut down on the rice a little bit.
That's
But
a lot of food.
My body is like, you see,
And I'm saying
rice. Like, throughout the week. I just have to, like, portion it now.
That's a lie.
God damn! Hold on.
She eating that rice like she Jamaican.
This is the issue I have. Claressa's
That's a
words
good
and
half
her
a pound,
actions
pound of rice.
seldom match. Correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to play it again. She just said, y'all know me. I like rice with my meal,
She like,
and I
"Mm."
seldom go without eating rice. Cool. But she said I got to watch it, especially when I'm cutting weight, because, you know, obviously rice is a carb, you know what I mean? So it can turn to sugar. It puts some weight on you, carbs, right? It could turn to refined sugar or whatever, right? No problem. Then she said, that's why I portion control, and then proceeds to put a heaping scoop of rice on the plate. Now, I'm not the plate monitor. She bought the food. She's welcome to eat however much she wants. But I'm just saying what she's said. She literally said she got a portion. Just watch. She said, I got a portion
That
control.
rice can feel this
Right?
platter, this little thing, that container
I
right
do
here.
slow it down, you know what I mean?
She said,
It could
I
fill
eat
it
rice,
up.
but I slow it down. So that means you're watching what you eat. You're portioning it out, rationing it out. Watch.
I do
Not.
slow it down, you know? Eat a lot of my meals without me having no
When
Watch.
she
rice.
not fighting, she eat her
But I
ass
do
off.
slow it down, you know what I mean?
But
You gotta cut weight,
Everything
you gotta
don't
cut
affect
down on the rice
everybody
a little
the
bit.
same.
My body is like, you see, I eat like rice, like, throughout the week.
but you'll notice her get a gut.
Portion it now.
Okay.
She can't.
Here.
She don't got a good metabolism like that.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Rissa. She said I just got to portion it now, so I want y'all to see the portion.
I want the rice a little bit, but I'm like used to eating rice. I like rice. Like,
look, bow.
I just have to
Bow.
That's the amount of rice they give you with a Chinese.
Dang! How is that portioned? Look.
She going to town.
Like, you put so much rice, they went to commercial break. Hold on. Tell me this is portion control. Bow.
I just have to.
Look, She like shoveling it on the plate.
She
Big clumps is coming out. Huh?
She can fill this entire platter right here full of rice.
Now, here's the thing.
She needs
Again,
scale.
I don't care how much she eats. She can eat whatever she wants. The only problem for me is this really gives fans a lot of doubt as to when you're going to return to the sport of boxing, right? Here's why. Now, again, we're all human. We can all choose what we put into our body, even as a pro athlete. Cool. But I distinctly remember when she was crashing out on Alicia Baumgardner after she won and Shadaysha Green after she lost and had a brain bleed.
That's crazy.
She did a video and she said she was going to be back in the ring soon.
I forgot to see what happened to her.
She had a whole face-off with Lauren Price in the UK, right? And in that video where she was bad-mouthing Shadaysha and Baumgardner, she said she was going down in weight from heavyweight to 160. Play the clip.
So I'm going back down to 160. I whooped everybody's ass. 54, 60, 168, 175, 175 plus. I done beat them already. Now I'm going back down to 160 to fight against a Olympic champion. Girls can't fuck with.
Okay. So you heard it from Claressa herself. I just played the clip. I just played the clip.
Her.
Right?
Or even
so
possibly be her.
Put the story together how you want. She said, I love me a salad. Then she said, I gotta watch it with the rice, but I eat rice with pretty much all of my meals.
How do you eat
These
rice
are her
in
words.
a salad?
But the trick is you just gotta portion control it, especially if you're cutting weight. So you would think a person who's going from heavyweight, if they truly intended on fighting anytime soon, and they're having to go down to 160,
you're not lying.
You would stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You have literally, you know when you go to a cookout, right? And they got those big, like, disposable, like the pan she got this fish in. She got a whole heap of salad,
she
right? But that's vegetable, that's green, whatever.
Listen, we all know she don't got no discipline in real life, and she don't have discipline with her eating. When she got ready to fight her homegirl, Franchon, Claressa was pretty much out of shape, and she waited to the last minute to really get in shape. So you know she had to work triple time to do that shit. She don't just bounce back like that. Even if she's athletic, because of metabolism, she just ain't got them kind of genetics. She don't.
Big whole branzino, and she's scooping rice by the pound on her thing. So again, I'm not her nutritionist. This is not to pick on her. I'm simply making the point that fans are going to be very concerned if you're talking about moving down in weight, and your own words, you said you have to watch the carbs for obvious reasons. Anybody who's a bodybuilder or athlete, some people cut carbs completely, right? Ryan Garcia did a live stream, and he was like, I got to cut a lot of carbs, to get in shape.
When you get in shape, you really don't
Claressa
do no
Shields
carbs.
is just piling them on her plate, which is cool.
Especially at first.
You're free to do it. But I'm just saying, for your career-wise, that don't really look like you'll be returning to the ring.
What's that, like fruits?
Let's watch again.
And y'all know me. I don't eat a lot of my meals without me having no rice.
I don't eat a lot of my meals without me having rice. So rice is a carb. It's not a good carb per se. It's not like a complex carb like a sweet potato. So that means you're eating rice with every meal. But you said your body handles it well. Cool. But you got a portion control. This don't so much look like portion control to me. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So if you eat rice with every meal, and that's your version of portion control, which I'm about to show you, then that's concerning if you're dropping all that weight to go down to 160.
But I do slow it down, you know what I mean?
So this is her slow down portion control of rice.
Chips is my weakness.
Look, this is portion control.
I just have to like portion it now.
Yeah, all right. That's her
right.
portion. So you're eating, that's only one meal.
This is what it looked like.
If she just work out, I can see eating that.
And she already been
This
eating. Hold
is
on,
what
hold
it
on.
looked like.
Hold on. She paused it and ate some of it. So it was actually more rice in there. The reason I know is because your spoon is dirty. And who eats rice with a spoon anyway? Watch. Look at the spoon. So I really feel like you ate some of that rice. But either way, you just said you have to portion control. It's still a lot of rice. We seen you dumping it in there. Come on, man.
Y'all don't eat rice with a spoon?
This is what it looked like.
When I'm at home, I do.
Then for my drink, I got me
I
a
don't have to eat
cucumber
rice.
limeade drink, slushy.
I don't got time to be fighting
Really good, you guys.
the rice with a fork.
Try it.
But etiquette
What was that?
says-
Did y'all see that?
What?
My computer glitched out. Oh, that was that filter fell off. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that again. No, I seen a glitch. Hold on, what was that? When she
I
was
just wanna
drinking
play the
something
part where
like
he was talking about
flickered.
her being a
I
bully.
think that filter fell off. Hold on. Hold on. You see it? Hold on.
But she know people know she got on a filter. She got
It was
that
once you
glitter
start drinking.
filter.
She closing her eyes. I'm trying to get it right on the spot.
She hold a cup like a 2-year.
The filter came off. That's what it is. You eating with a filter and the filter flew off because probably on the Snapchat it's called Clean Beauty. You're using a Clean Beauty filter. It say it right there. Look, Clean Beauty. You're using Clean Beauty filter and it flew off. Y'all see that? Let's play the clip.
And she still look bad.
Try it.
I knew I wasn't. See? I thought my computer, something happened. Look.
Ain't
That
no
was
way
weird.
I have all that money.
I didn't know the filters fly
and
off
have
like that.
them permanent bags
But I think it's because the
underneath
cup
my eyes.
obstructed the view or something, and it couldn't.
It's not a hard fix.
Man, come on.
Cause you can tell she don't got no real team.
Dang, she ate all that rice. Oh my gosh. When is Clarissa's next
You thought
fight?
she was not gonna eat
Look
it?
at that rice. She went through. She went ham on that rice. Look. She really ate all that rice. Y'all see that?
And did eat all
What
the
the?
fish.
What the hell? Why is she picking up the bone?
This dude's silly.
What in the Heathcliff?
So she can eat the
Why
rest
is she
of the fish.
holding the bone? Clarissa, what are you doing? You trying to make a weapon? You trying to make a shank? Clarissa, put the bone down. What you doing?
This dude be real
Hey,
corny.
I have never seen it. Hold on. Let me back it up. Why is she grabbing the bone out
because
the
there's
fish?
fish underneath that
Like
layer
you,
of bone.
why don't you use that spoon or something? You ain't got no glove. That's crazy. You just you just cross contaminating everything. You holding the drink.
She don't have no etiquette.
you holding the sippy cup to drink like this, and then really reach for that bone. And I don't know what you're gonna do. We have to play the clip, but you're grabbing a raw fish bone, and we know you're gonna touch that drink right after that again, like you was doing. Bro, what is wrong? Look, bare hand
got a cup
holding
like
the
this.
top. Like, why do you need to hold the top of the cup?
That's weird. That's so weird.
I'm so lost. The Flint water, I
How
don't know
does she
what it
even
did. You so
naturally
used to
do
Flint
that?
water, you get a sip of anything, and I guess you just loving it. I wish I had a cup in here. Normally I have a cup of water. But anyway, when I hold a cup by the side. That's like something a little kid would do.
Yeah.
Grip the cup from the top. That's
Like a
just,
toddler.
it almost seems like primitive or barbaric. Like, what are you even doing? But anyway, the reality is you gripping the cup, and then you're going to touch that fish bone, and you know you got to polish off that drink. Come on, Rissa. And you say we jealous of you. Watch her grab the fish bone. You see how her hand crept up like Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights? And he's like, shake and bake. I'm not quite sure what to do with my hand. Watch the hand
Okay,
slowly creep
okay.
up like Ricky Bobby. I want to go fast.
I don't
Shake
know
and bake.
where the part is where he broke it down about her being a bully, but we know she a bully, so we gonna move on. But he's just too corny. I can't with him. Sometimes I think he just be saying shit just to have a video. Now we're gonna go to investigate and advocate. Now that's Jedediah Brown. Y'all don't know him? Go check him out. He's an advocate. He works on different cases and he does a good job. But he ain't to be played with now. He's full of drama. And he can and will back it all the way up. Okay? That's my guy right there.
I asked my husband, when did you get so big? His confidence hits different with Rouget Ready. It dissolves under his tongue, works in 15 minutes on average, and can last
in a good way.
What it do? They got receipts.
All right.
They got them files. They gon' investigate and advocate, holding it down. And when it comes to intel, you know they showing out. You smiling in Jazz face. Hold up, check that file. Don't run up on them either. They always in the crowd. I&A got his back. You don't know when they around. This crew, they not looking for the credit.
No time stamps.
This crew, shifting the atmosphere.
Let me see if I can remember when he started with Claressa.
I'm gonna have to give me some notes, cause goddamn. So I told y'all I was being cyberstalked.
Okay.
There's a lot of mob action happening against me, and I'm
I know
a
when
crime victim too. We finna start filing some documents. Legal team is put on it now. Some people that are cousins and but we do believe that this is when it comes out, it is going to if things continue on the track that it's on, that it is going to really call for some accountability for some people and how they responded to the situation. So let me not even talk about that and move past that as well. Sorry. But my cousin is alive. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your encouragement. And if you look at the news stories and all of the stuff that's surrounding it, please don't jump to conclusions. And I'm an advocate that deals with the facts, even when it's my family. And so we're going to give a public update on that when it is viable, when we are sure. And so far, it's just not making a lot of sense. Okay.
Claressa should be next.
Claressa Shields. So now I did that. While I was dealing with that bad news, I still had decided that I was going to go forward with what I had come to Flint to do. And so let's talk about it. This specific live is not about the public as much as it is about speaking hopefully to Claressa Shields, because she and her team monitors what goes on online. But I also want to give some clarity to some misconceptions that are out there. So I said in the title, Claressa Shields, let's not be at odds, because Claressa Shields undoubtedly is a fighter. And although I think that I fight half decent, I don't know if she would kick my ass or if I would be able to kick her ass. But I don't even want to go down that road. And I'm not just talking about physical, but I don't know if I will be Claressa's worst nightmare, because I'm a motherfucker. Believe it or not, y'all better go read those comments. Everybody who think that people don't fuck with me, go look at the comment sections of all of those videos and you will see people clearly tell you, just I don't play. He a motherfucker. I have a real reputation. You don't want me on your ass, not for real. And so I don't know if Claressa will get me or if I get her, but I don't underestimate nobody. But I'm just saying to Claressa Shields, let's not be at odds. And I'm on here on this broadcast tonight trying to hopefully explain it. So I went to Flint because we were given information, and I'm going to speak about it from a factual perspective. We were given information. Hold on one second. But actually, before I do that, even though you might have already seen it now, shout out to 810 News Media Group for being in the building and capturing the raw footage of this moment. But basically, y'all already know my style. I ain't going through no third party. If I got something to say, I'm pulling up. So I went to Flint to go into the boardroom of the land bank to speak directly to the face of the people who I had these allegations against and also had evidence against if they tried me. But again, y'all, in this exact moment, I'm processing. My cousin just did what? I got to get this done so I can get to see about my family. But this is the moment when I spoke to the land bank in Flint about what I was understanding Claressa Shields was on with the mayor of the city of Flint. I'll be right back.
Tell it.
Is there any public comments? Yes, sir.
Say this out.
You okay? You can come down here a little bit, Sam, if that's okay with you, or however you feel comfortable.
So hello, everybody.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Good.
So my name is Jedediah Brown. I'm a national community advocate, anti-corruption, anti-police brutality.
Your address for the minute.
My address?
Yes.
I'll say I'm homeless. I am a national advocate, so I move around the country. But I'm originally from Texas. I'll go with that. Okay, so 700 individuals have all found themselves in a similar state where their property is looking or seemingly going to be taken because of tax delinquency. And the reason why I am here is because when that happens, there are two processes by which they can recover their property, as you know. Number one, where the mayor of the city could give them their property back. Or number two, those properties could be purchased in a tax sale, I believe, on the steps of the county. But what has happened and what has brought great concern for me to be here today is Claressa Shields, who hails herself as a neighborhood hero, a champion of sorts. She seemingly is getting preferential treatment, as I'm alleging, and it has brought up a lot of concern. And so the mayor of the city of Flint didn't just give her property back because that would be too obvious. And I'm alleging, in exchange for her campaigning for him, he called the treasurer, Tom Muma, and he called executive director Michael Freeman, asking for them to basically give her privilege to be able to retain or to obtain her grandmother's property, which would also be with delinquent taxes somewhere to around $7,000 since, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 3 years and a half, something like that, 3.5 years. And so basically, the reason why I'm here is because Claressa Shields has also called the Treasury Department, and she's been verbally abusive to the staff, basically pressing that her privilege basically be observed and that this not get out. And because of her verbal abusive nature to the staff, and specifically identifying the executive director, Michael Freeman, as her man that's supposed to get this job done, I'm asking that the board step in to stop this level of corruption. But it also troubles me that a celebrity would think that they can get preferential treatment when there are 699 other people who I'm sure would love to save their properties as well. Thank God that the Supreme Court ruled that it is unlawful to take people's property for tax delinquency, and that stuff is something that the country is still trying to matriculate, but we definitely don't believe that.
Okay,
is,
so just in case y'all missed that, her grandmother's house went into foreclosure, $7,000. She doesn't want it to go through the process and hit auction because she doesn't want people to know that. Remember what her cousin Khalida said? She had Claressa's sister put up a GoFundMe for her children, and Claressa had a fit, and then it became this big beef and all that, and she was telling her to take it down. Then Claressa came on here posting that bullshit on her bullshit ass Christmas tree. Grandma's house went into foreclosure over $7,000. So she cuts a deal with the mayor that he will tell them to give her house back as long as she endorsed him for re-election. No matter what he do, no matter what type of time he on, Flint still got nasty water, remember that. Just endorse him. And he will get him back down. So it hasn't happened, or it hasn't happened fast enough, and the auction is coming up. So she been harassing the staff, cussing them out, threatening them and everything, trying to throw her weight around. And they have started to file reports. And since Jedediah is already doing advocate work in Flint, they let him know about it. That's your ass now, Claressa. That's your ass now.
And I maybe said that wrong, Mr. Freeman. You, Mr. Freeman, right?
Excuse me, who's here?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, actually.
That's why I asked.
So, Ms. Freeman, nice to meet you in first. But he can probably help us identify if he got that call or not. But she is a person who has a lot of wealth because of her status, and she should not need a special favor to obtain a property that she's delinquent in, somewhere around $7,000. So I wanted to bring the awareness that I have forwarded all of the communications, and I wanted to make the board aware that you're going to see a lot of outside activity because the corruption of Mr. Neely is not going to be unaddressed, and it is time that it starts being addressed fully. Have a good day.
When life happens, healthcare.gov is here for you. Like it's there for Marcus. Even though he lost his job, he's not.
First of all, y'all saw I had on my good pants, little sparkle there, then on top of that, when I turned around and my nostrils was big as hell, I thought I did that. Even though I was dealing with my own family stuff, I got it out. Now, I was a little disoriented, discombobulated, but I got it out. Now, I want to talk about the specifics of this, and then I'm going to play a little bit more of the video. Bear with me. Claressa, let's be very clear here. You are not my target, and I'd rather not have to fight you. And so people are overwhelmingly supportive of the fact that we are bringing awareness to this. But of course, you get a few people who want to talk shit on both ways, and I get it, I'm a public figure. And so with that being said, I'm used to the ridicule, I'm used to the haters, I'm used to all that shit, but they wouldn't do what I do as it relates to go and tell people what I feel in their face on their best day, and I'll do it on any day, including my worst, so fuck them. However, I am feeling us away a little bit because one of my favorite YouTubers, his name is Cooking with Frank, and Claressa, her squad, boy, they be taking YouTubers the fuck out. And so I'm alleging and believing that she is the reason why Cooking with Frank is no longer on the internet. But y'all, I don't know if y'all peeped. Frank spoke. He spoke recently through another page in the comment section, but he didn't know that I was already, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm you know how y'all do that dance when you be feeding and your friend be, I think we had to fucking go. See, I'm 40 years old, but it's something you feed your friend and they be like, you know, some shit like that. So I was trying to tell Frank, I got your back, bro. I was feeling some kind of way, like, why she mess with this man? He doing this little thing, this 1-2. It's a lot of other YouTubers talking about it, but Frank got sniped because Frank was effective and one of the best. And so I'm already feeling the way because for my boy. So basically, we was working on stuff and following whatever was going on. And long story short, let me tell you how this came about. We ended up getting a phone call from the little guy. People in the Treasury Department called and was like, man, you know, Jedediah, we know that you bold and you came through Flint fighting for people that's like the underdog, and like we getting these phone calls and Claressa being verbally abusive and she talking real reckless to people and people feeling the way we done made complaints and she bogus. So that's what the Treasury Department people said. And then they said we also called her cousin. We called her cousin and we let her cousin know what she owned. And so they gave me the details. So I'm calling Shalita calling me. And we calling each other, and Shalita like, Jedediah, man, let me tell you what I heard. And I'm like, man, Shalita, let me tell you what I heard. And we ended up moving off the van, chopping it up. And she's like, man, I ain't nowhere near there right now. I was like, but we got to get there, whatever it takes. I'm going to get you up there. So me and her chop it up. We decide we going. Shalita thinking it's 6 o'clock at night. I don't know what time it is. It's a whole lot going on. I get there a day before, and I'm dang, Shalita, it's at 1 o'clock. I just found out it's at 1 o'clock. And she was like, well, I'm too far. Go ahead and do it. Speak. Because I was trying to make sure Shalita had all the facts. Shalita was all, man, I don't know who called Shalita, but Shalita is, that's the motherfucker. And let me tell you why that's a motherfucker. Because if she got the call that, like I got, with the information I got, how does Shalita have just as much information as INA's squad? And she just one person. So I'm like, how the fuck she do all that research? Because I'm sitting here trying to tell her stuff. She telling all the stuff to me, and I'm like, we just have to do research for hours, and you already. So I don't care what nobody say about her, about her presentation, and about how rowdy she can be. The girl is actually, she's smart as hell. She be knowing what she be talking about. And so, anyway, so that I ain't too wordy with this and I can make it make sense, I'm with it because I don't like Mayor Neely. And y'all already know why I don't like Mayor Neely. I think he's a corrupt piece of shit. So the first thing that I want to be clear about is I'm not coming at no beef between Claressa and her cutty. That ain't my business. I don't believe in that. So me going to that hearing had nothing to do with getting in the middle of a beef between cousins, because I think that that's weird as hell. And you can't win that, because at the end of the day, they blood. And I pray, regardless of anything, that they can figure that out and work that out. That's my real desire for Claressa and Shalita. And I'm be honest, they strong motherfuckers. If they ever get on the same page, everybody better just watch the fuck out. But yeah, Claressa fuck with Frank, I'm with it. I don't care. I fuck with Shalita, I'm flying there. But Shalita didn't just call me because she wanted to get an echo, or she wanted to have somebody have her back, or she wanted to share this information. I met Shalita when I came to Flint, fighting the mayor of Flint, because he does a lot of stuff corrupt. This man literally tried to turn a protest, constitutionally protected protest, into an act of terrorism. And if you don't know, I was arrested for wielding a casket in front of his house. He tried to act like it was a threat, like we didn't say that it was highlighting the plight of the people of the city of Flint and the fact that people had been in crisis and didn't get their water settlement money, which he tried to act like he was championing, only for y'all to realize how many people y'all think got that water, that Flint water crisis settlement money? I'll wait. So this man got a lock on playing with the minds and the hearts of the people of the city, placating to the people who are in the voter base, doing enough for them to keep being loyal to him, and he's not taking care of the city.
I remember hearing that. They were supposed to be allocated some money because of the crisis, the water crisis. The citizens were, and a lot of them never got their portion, their payment. That town, I mean, I still can't believe it, but then you go look at Tiffany Henyard, all that she was allowed to do, and many more. And it's like, some agencies should have stepped in, but they don't care. I mean, look who they doing it to. So it's like, thank you, you're helping us. That's crazy. And somebody says it's against the law to not go through a judge and bank. That's jail time, and I'm sure she's never voted.
For real, and keeping citizens weak and uneducated and divided. And he doing it by putting his thumb on their back, by making them think he got progress, because he always doing a press conference and sitting in his office looking like a fucking naked mole rat, lying to the people and acting like he got God in his heart. So that's my problem. And I ain't never let nobody in this country step on or infringe my rights, and I walk away and forget about that shit. So I literally am probably 1 more month away from a bond condition that says I can't get in no trouble in Genesee County, or I'm going to jail.
Well, you better stay
I
out
can't even
Genesee
go to
County.
City Hall, or I'm going to jail. And so while anybody want to talk about a clip, let's be clear here. I ain't getting this for the beef between family members. I'm at Neely not being reelected as the mayor of the city. And next month, when these bond conditions is up, I want him to play that same game with me, because I'm a baby's kid, bitch. I don't die. I come back multiplied. So I've been using all this time to study, to research, to prepare, to plan, and to get my alliances together. Because when I go back, I'm on his ass. And we're going to see if he wins another term. So
Neely is the by mayor, but Claressa will promote him if he gives her back her grandma house that she should have just paid the $7,000 for. I still can, right? Show up and pay the money. She want to make crooked deals to go against her people. You know, I don't recall hearing her talk about Flint. I mean, if I was a celebrity and I was from Flint, I wouldn't shut up about it. She ain't nowhere anyway. She don't have no endorsements anyway. She don't have no big brand deals. She don't have, you don't see her with other people in the industry. What does she have to lose? Her beauty?
how did Claressa get in my crosshairs? Because Claressa, instead of being a champion for the people from where she come and understand the plight, she too busy signifying, too busy being boastful and prideful and flaunting. And you can do that if you got it, cool. It ain't tricking if you got it. But you're doing all this goofy stuff, but you don't care about the effect of the people as long as you benefiting. And I don't rock with that. So the problem with Claressa for me is she's trying to puff up a man because he benefits her. That's hurting the people where she lives, or where she come from, rather. So that's how I got involved with her. I don't give a damn about the beef with the family. I'm not there for that. So when I went in that room, it was more about Neely, and it's more about, but she caught the straight because she allowed him to use her because her heart ain't right. Her heart is wrong, bro. And that's why I said she could be a good fighter. Good fighters are everywhere. But she ain't no champion and had the audacity to try to challenge Layla Ali, who was a real woman of stature. I could never respect her for that. The way she even went about going at Layla Ali put a bad taste in my mouth. Because it just gave fugazi. All of it was just whack as hell. And now I have come to discover that people all over the internet, because I really didn't know, they see her as somebody that's not even half of what she tried to emulate and put herself up to be. And I don't know nothing about her being with some married man or him not taking care of her, not having a job. I don't care about all that kind of stuff. But what I do know is that you're supposed to be a whole celebrity, and you're supposed to have an $8 million contract, and I'm understanding it may not have panned out specifically for her, but you rather use your voice for little selfish trinkets while your family got somebody pressing on their neck. Are you fucking crazy? Shalita literally was manhandled by the government of Flint. And you got Claressa Shields, who's supposed to be some champion fighter as a cousin, and she ain't come through. Now, let me say this for the record. When I was there fighting for the people of Flint for the water crisis that they still in or was dealing with the money, settlement money, this is the crazy thing. I met a young man who had a camera, and he was like, I'll film this stuff for you. And he was like, I'm not even worried about money. He was like, I film for my cousin. And you can go look at all her stuff. I filmed for her cousin. Literally 2-3 days later, this boy came back, or this man came back with a long face. And then Shalita was like, man, yeah, Claressa just dropped him. And this is real family. She said it to me. She was like, Claressa just dropped him. And he put ass to belt and helping her out. And she won't even give him the basic, she wanted to give him basic stuff to be able to survive. And so then what blew me away is they was like, man, we'll help you with whatever. And when the police was at my ass, Shalita and this young man positioned the car because my SUV was a clear target to get me out the city. So from that day forward, no matter what happened, I have mad respect and love for them because they never charged me a dime or asked me for anything. They just said, if you trying to help the citizens of Flint, we got your back. And Shalita went hard as hell. If you go look at the rest of the, if you go look at the moment when they pulled the elderly man out of the car, snatched him out of the car, Shalita was in the middle of the street, raising hell for the people of the community. I got respect for her because of that. And I was like, damn. And I'm gonna be honest, like, I was thinking they was like talking about, I was like, ain't no way in hell these people working this hard, talking about Claressa Shields is their relative. I was like, maybe she a friend that they just keep on, you know how you grow up in the black.
Can you imagine how she can help her people though? I'm pretty sure she's not the only celebrity from Flint. But since she's so loud and boisterous, why don't she try to advocate for them, especially on the strength of that water? The investigation that I did on this subject, there was some interviews I was supposed to do and stuff like that a while ago. I don't know, but the sicker my father got, I was out. I couldn't. It's so much stuff that these people done. And then they got all this money and got away with it. They should have corrected the water issue. People need to be compensated. This is literally insane. And by the way, I've heard that they might have to shut Louisiana down, but wasn't that the goal? That was the goal.
Household, oh, this is a friend, but you say family, because why they out here like this? And she ain't fucking with them. Like it wasn't making sense or adding up. Come to find out, they was telling the truth the whole time. So I don't have any respect for her because you don't. If you influential and you are wealthy, you won't even gotta be there in person. And you
She
ain't
don't
even,
advocate for
hey, I'm
anything.
a multi-millionaire mayor. You gotta take care of you gotta treat my family right. And I need some stuff to happen for the citizens of Flint that they can actually hold on to. Not the other way around, where you show up at Flint for a dinner and you sitting across from the mayor and you basically ask him to get your grandmama house back for you because you $7,000 delinquent in taxes for 3.5 years in exchange for campaigning for him. So you want a fucking trinket from somebody who should absolutely
But this
be
is
your
$9,000 bracelet.
you gonna become his hireling, and he should be your bitch. He needs you. So my problem with her is, you just gonna go up there. You just gonna go up there and tell the people of this city to re-elect this motherfucker so that you don't get publicly known and outed for allowing your grandma house to go into foreclosure. And I don't know too much about it, but y'all, something about a friend of hers is living in the house. She put on her own page, shared my video, and put on her own page. Ain't none of them getting it back. So I'm like, what kind of hot Cheeto ghetto mess is this? And I forgot her name. I don't know her name to tell you what it is. But it's a friend of Claressa that she thought I was living in the motherfucking house. So I'm like, and then they said Claressa remodeled the motherfucker. So I'm just all confused. Was it an oversight? Is she doing it? Was she just stopped caring because the person living in there? Like, what's to this? But my issue with her ain't got nothing. Nigeria, that is her name. That's a good catch. That's the name. The girl Nigeria put on her page like, shit, ain't none of them getting this motherfucker back. So then I'm talking to my team. I'm like, so what that means? She gonna burn that bitch down? What's happening? So I'm not trying to get into it with no damn Claressa Shields. I got enough enemies. Trust me. I'm pissing somebody off every cause, every day. I got people out here with whole narratives lying about me on all kind of shit simply because I hold motherfuckers' feet to their fire. I got enough work on, enough caseload. I don't need no work on me, real talk, real shit. I'm underappreciated, underrated. I'm not supported.
So Diane on his page, investigate and advocate. He should be huge. He should be. But, oh my, 23K. Now, he's going to have to get page after page. Let's be clear, because he takes on mainly people in the local politics that's doing the citizens wrong and shit like that. 23K, no. His Facebook, I'm sure, is larger. But 23K is still, I mean, I know to most creators that's going to be nothing, but it's more than what I have. So I look at it as a little something, something. But it doesn't matter. Jedediah himself is a huge figure if you're into, like, if you're type that's, caring about and keeping up with the injustices that the local government be trying to do to the people. And for him to take on this and already have a dog in that fight, and then she is coming in and trying to help and advocate for the interested party, and she's doing it all the wrong way. And that's a backdoor deal that is illegal for the mayor to do as well. You cannot just give someone a property because they are willing to endorse your ways. Now, y'all was supposed to make some other kind of deal. They make these dirty deals all the time, but you should have made one that was so obvious. And then on top of that, you got Claressa, the one who Pap said don't respond to 50, and she does it anyway. So any chick that don't listen to her man is completely reckless. Yep, completely reckless. And then I don't know if we can call him her man. Not because he's married, but because I don't know that he's a man. Okay. He went on Vlad TV and was like, "Yeah, I told her not to say nothing, but she always going viral every day, making excuses for why the fuck your chick didn't listen to you, and then she gonna come out with a song talking about, for him I be quiet. No, you don't. Well, that's one thing you don't do. So she's calling down to City Hall or wherever they at, and she is harassing and threatening and yelling and screaming at the workers there because they have not yet given her back ownership or custody, deed, whatever, to her grandmama house. Maybe you should sit your ass back and wait, because if that's the deal y'all made, that's the deal y'all made. But you think he just hand you back your grandma's house? Let him figure that shit out. He said he gonna do it. If you're gonna call anybody, call him. I'm pretty sure he said it's gonna take some time, but I'll get it done for the auction. And you should be on about your shit, minding your business, and telling people where Pap is.
As it relates to the resources, I be having to figure this shit out. I'm stressed out and I got my own problems and my own family issues going on, and I'm building a national organization. Why you not a part of it? You tweaking type shit. And so I ain't scared of Claressa.
Money Metals is offering a silver starter kit to help you get started in holding tangible.
Jedediah is by the way. I'm pretty sure you can tell there's a little something going on. Trust me, if he hasn't mentioned it yet in this video, he's going to. So he ain't nothing hidden about that.
But I don't want to fight it, Joe. Not unless I have to. So here's my point.
You a dude. You
get out the way. Don't get in the way of trying to push up me. Let him handle his own fight that he didn't pick on his own. And don't laugh at that man. Don't prop the man up. Because I got more shit that I can actually do. Because I don't care what nobody say, I'm effective.
Have to.
And the last person who tried to play me for a chump, she ran the whole government. And she ain't running no governments no more. You feel? And so I turned a news story into a movement that got 1,200 people that was ready to actually overthrow a government in a damn city. And I got a lot of other stuff that I could talk about. I ain't no spring chicken, no novice, nor no bitch. But what I am saying is that I'd rather avoid it at all costs if I could. But I'm not doing this to get in no family beef. This ain't about no clicks, no views, no likes, and no monetization. And this damn show ain't because I'm bored and need some attention and irrelevant. But if I have to, I will clear this shit because I am against Neely getting another term because he goes against the city of Flint being able to actually thrive and progress for the little guy who's in the city. So when the people from the Treasury Department made their phone call, this is what's happening. And then Shalita got the information and we talked. The assignment was clear. So I want to speak for myself.
Well, honey, all I can say is, Clarence, if you want your grandmammy house back, you're going to have to show up at the auction. We know you can outbid everybody. We know about it now. We know about it. So you're going to have to show up at the auction, honey. Y'all can't do that. It's not going to happen. I hope you know that. Stop calling them people, because you're going to get fucked up. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get fucked up. You ever been in jail? Hmm? You and your raggedy ass man going to end up going to jail. Keep on.
And I would say that effectively, we got a victory because they rethinking doing that shit. And let me tell you what the play was. And I'm sorry, y'all, I ain't the most entertaining, but I just wanted to beat this out. If you are friends with Shalita by default, you're an enemy of Claressa. I'm a friend of anybody fighting from the ground, and I don't give a fuck about being. I hope that I didn't mispresent. I truly couldn't give a fuck about being an enemy of Claressa Shields. I'm the only nigga in this country who stopped Donald Trump from having a successful rally in the city, and he the president of the United States right now, and he love to get a nigga back. Claressa better really not fuck with me, and I don't say that to be arrogant or to be like her. I'm telling you the truth. Shit, I ain't got nothing to lose, and I'm the heavyweight champion of fuck around and find out right now. If she want to come and get this title, tell her to come and do it. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm trying to let them know she ain't on my radar.
Comment. She ain't fighting about the water, even though her mama live there. Shit, that's where she from. Her whole family live there. You don't hear Claressa saying nothing about that dirty ass water over there, Flint. Claressa don't advocate for nothing. I tell you a whole lot. That's why when ladies say keep my daddy name out your mouth, bitch. And fuck Charlamagne raggedy ass too. Right? Because they're part of the same whatever you want to call them people. Talking about the one thing I didn't like is when ladies said you can't talk about the great Muhammad Ali. My nigga, I'll punch her in the face for bringing up Ali. Okay? And we emphasizing that because I ain't no boxer. But let's get that straight. Ain't nobody scared of Claressa either. Like, child, please.
I got my one. I got a lick back to Frank,
this bitch
and I
really
still got
fight
people
like
who I think deserve it. It could be over with. And if she get the fuck away from trying to pop up Neely and stay focused and maybe go have a couple street fights for a few $100 so she can pay them taxes on that motherfucking house, then this is over with. I don't mean disrespect, no pun intended, but y'all, that's ghetto as hell to actually have a $7,000 tax debt and you a multi-millionaire. That's ghetto as hell. But the crazy part about it is like this. What they was trying to do is basically, so this is what the whole little thing you did was. So basically, the mayor, like I said in the video. Oh wait. So now let's go back to the video. She always calling people broke. That's crazy. So let's go back to the video because I don't know. I didn't talk a lot, but I spoke and I said this is what's going on. This is the part that y'all right here. This is why you should fuck with me right here. Here you go.
First of all, thank you for being here. It's Sammy and not Tom.
Y'all, that's some motherfucking funny shit right there. I'm saying she called Michael. There go Michael ass right there. Hold on, y'all. Here go Michael ass. That's Michael ass with this gray shirt on. Gray little thing on. That's Michael. And the guy talking is the treasurer. I didn't know what they looked like. I'm sitting up and saying, yeah, he called these motherfuckers. I'm like, give her a deal. So look at this.
Just for the record.
I'm sorry.
That you're okay. I'm good. I've been called worse, so I don't take that as a bad thing at all. I just, if we're gonna see a lot of one another, I want to at least be called the right name. So,
okay,
and I mean nothing bad. I have to be the treasurer, and I will just say this to you, sir, that some of what you stated I don't think is exactly accurate. Some of what you stated is accurate. So I would prefer to have a discussion where we can have one. You know what I mean? Because nothing is hidden here. I did address the discussion with my staff, and I'll leave that to where. I would address it with whether you're a celebrity or not, or whoever is. I'm not going to tolerate individuals calling my office and claiming anything, whether they're a celebrity or just an average person. That's not tolerated by my office, and I personally addressed that with Claressa. That's about, and her house was foreclosed on, and we don't do an auction on the front steps of the county. It goes in September to a sale of all the other properties that's there. If the locals don't, or the state has first right to foreclose property, and then the local jurisdiction, the house you are particularly referring to at this moment is in the city of Flint. So the city would have the first right of purchasing that house.
He got emphysema or something? Why
you gotta read body language. Michael Freeman is looking at him like, would you shut the fuck up? So basically, this man, the treasurer, he is speaking to the comments. Hold on, let him finish.
So why do you care?
I care because of my family. I bring them with me to work every day.
I care about my United Healthcare
This
members.
person says Claressa needs to move back to Flint, seek real therapy, and most of all, she needs to stay off the internet. Y'all, listen, she don't need to go back to that dirty water. She's damaged enough. Okay, one more sip of that water. She better do like Obama did, pretend like you drink it and drink some clean water.
And then, of course, there's other ways. Then the treasurer could do it too, or the land bank. There's been no decisions as a final on that, so I'll leave that like that. But I understand the awareness that you're trying to bring. I look forward to that. I have no problem with that. I believe in freedom of speech. I believe in that everybody should be treated equal, and each 700 is roughly where we're at, but we're a little beneath that because
He
each
don't know it
individual
yet,
house
but he's at
has
risk for
specific
emphysema if he don't already have it.
reasons for whatever
Early
they found
onset
themselves in the
emphysema.
situation, and sometimes in that there are.
Ask me how I know. Many years I've had emphysema patients, and some of them were part of my hospice patients. And if I had to pick between that one and cancer as far as the worst way to watch somebody go out, I'm gonna have to give it's a draw. It's a draw. It's a draw. And they'll cuss you out to take them outside for a cigarette too. With the oxygen tank. But struggling for your last breath, this is what it sounds like on the early stages. Every time you talk, you fighting to get that breath back. Every time. He better go get checked out. Ain't nothing you can do, but I don't know. Maybe gotta help you. I don't know. But y'all so crooked. Your ass can't even breathe. You sipping breaths over here. You emphysema sounding ass over here. Y'all knew all about what was going on. And now that you called out, you're going to try to act like it's handled. It's being handled. Well, ain't nobody going to just walk away. Not from Jedediah in his camp. Okay, it's going to be followed up on because he's in town and he's on that ass. That's a big ass damn cat. It's after something. And it's thick too. Paws and legs like this. That's crazy. This cat be out here running this damn neighborhood.
Ways to be able to correct something that might have been wrong, or it was in a sale and the title company didn't cover the end of it, and we find those after the fact.
Come near me.
That's not supposed to her, but just I wanted you to know we send any properties that don't get exercised by the local, which could be 33 locals in Genesee County, can, like I said, ask for that property, and then they have to buy it. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
So
Yeah,
is
but
there
it's
any
gotta go through
other
the process first, go to auction
anybody
first,
else
all
here
that.
for public comment?
So fuck with me. Why am I saying fuck with me? Because it tells you that what I'm saying is somewhat credible. I don't know all of what is or what isn't credible. I want y'all to understand that I got this call, me and Shalita got this call from the Treasury employees probably the day or two before. So we got to do real-time research, real-time movement,
credible.
real-time travel, and all that other shit.
It's
And
credible.
so
That's
I
why he
didn't
said
have
he's
all
supposed
the
to be
details
Claressa.
except for what my team was able to verify, and we did what we did and what we do, and we came with what we knew. And so with that being said, and one takeaway from this, you got to have a lot of fucking audacity, and you got to have a lot of fucking ignorance to call a whole government department and talk to these employees like they are absolutely your employees, your underlings, they're your subjects, and they your bitches. That's because you sat down with a mayor or an elected official. Let me tell you what the long story short is. I would never do a criminal act with that motherfucker. And this just how I talk. Now, I'm gonna go to church one Sunday and get it back together. I used to be a pastor, but then I taste the rainbow. I'm just playing. I'm playing, but I'm not playing. I was just talking about it earlier. But my part of the rainbow, my favorite part of the rainbow was FTMs. Y'all be taking a commercial break for Jedediah, where they say, don't talk too much, get out, shut the fuck up. Not shut the fuck up, because, you know, people I love you telling me that. But it's just my truth. Like, I love FTMs. That's my favorite part of the rainbow. And I be mad as hell because they be wanting girls. And
This
I be
don't
like,
got
man,
nothing to
come on,
do,
man.
Jedediah.
I just want a girl I can put in a headlock and then cuddle up with later if I want to cuddle, and then after 10 minutes, be like, man, go play some basketball or something, change some oil, go take out the garbage, go. I got some research to do. I don't like all that, you forgot my birthday and how my hair look and how my nails look. I don't give a fuck.
All girls aren't like that. I don't even celebrate my birthday. See, you discriminate. Why you doing it? That's crazy. That shit ain't cute.
Get in the shower.
I hate when he do this.
So, I got some damn marching to do. Shit, got marching in the motherfucking shit. So I don't know people.
Nobody want to
Anyway. So basically. Hold on one second. Oh, here we go again. I'm sorry, y'all. But, I'm just me. So anyway. We got involved again is because the staff called like, damn, why she does like this every fucking day? She literally is calling. She's so busy worried about people finding out that her granny's spot is foreclosed that she's literally calling the staff of the government at they ass, talking about, man, what the fuck? Y'all supposed to be getting my house back to me, off the record before this stuff go forward, you motherfucking imbecile, dumbass motherfucker. She had to be talking so bad to them for these people to go and file a complaint. Now think about that. Think about that. I know the feds was on the phone listening then like, do y'all hear this shit? Claressa is telling these employees to hurry the fuck up and do this corrupt shit in the mayor's name.
He the one supposed to. See, that's what I'm saying.
Hell no. Hell no.
She messing it up for her.
Hell no.
Oh, shit.
So she's so self-serving and so self-centered. She giving the whole play up. And we sit up there, and I'm over there acting like a therapist when they call me. And how did you feel when they said this, when she was talking to you like that? And what did she say? And when are they gonna do it? And who she say? Oh, Michael, the boss. Oh, Michael said that. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Are you, do you want to pray? No, I don't want to pray. I don't want to pray. I just want the calls to stop. And what else is happening? Did Michael say anything to you? Well, now, Mr. Brown, I don't want to lose my job now. It's okay. You already finna get that. Because Claressa on y'all ass.
Then they got a lawsuit.
I used to struggle with dandruff, but now I use Head and Shoulders every wash because the active ingredient in Head and Shoulders fights off the microbe.
Oh, you said you already called her cousin. Oh, what you tell the cousin? Did you leave any details down from what you told the cousin from what you're telling me?
Jed.
Let me get on this phone with her. Can we do a three-way? Oh, it's your lunch break. I'll talk to y'all later. I hope everything worked out for you, sugar. On that ass. Give me a motherfucking flight to Flint right now. Stat. So anyway, this is. I'm just talking to y'all about it, but I'm being dead serious. That's the background for all this. And so basically, what they were trying to do, so finish explaining. So they motherfucking acknowledging it, right? Like, yeah, this is what's going on. But I dealt with that for my staff. But they ain't speak nothing to that call from the mayor. They ain't speak nothing from the call from the mayor. They say, no mayor called us because his naked mole rat looking ass did. And so what he told them to do is what I'm going to
Somebody say, you get to Claressa, you get to the Nellies. They tied in attack. Please rewrite this. Something. She gonna tell everything. She a big part of the corruption in Flint, Michigan. Somebody else said that man you don't know how Claressa gonna turn on him, baby.
So what he told them to do basically is y'all go through the process, but then when y'all done with the meetings or whatever,
got no friends.
Give her shit back. Ain't nobody gonna notice or pay attention. I'm paraphrasing what we believe based on the preponderance of information and evidence that we have. So all of them was thinking, all right, we finna do this meeting. We finna give this little favor, this little woo-wop for Claressa, and ain't nobody gonna pay attention because we had the meeting. Corruption at its fucking finest. And they wouldn't have got away with it until the motherfucking Scooby-Doo crew popped up. Shiny pants. So, Jenkins. So, and then, I'm like, I come on the internet, and Shalita's sitting, I'm like, is Shalita in witness protection? She got on the thing, she got on house clothes, she looking, talking to somebody to her left. I'm like, what the hell going on? And Shalita going the fuck off. And then next thing I noticed, I saw her bounce up like this. I said, she in the damn truck. Because I didn't know what she said. So I was like, this girl is in the truck going the fuck off. We'll keep on talking because that'll help y'all get close to your destination. Because that driving shit, I get tired after 2 hours. So I am at the point where I can say
Somebody said about Claressa, this girl is a walking, talking, breathing nightmare.
that we have successfully brought awareness to it, and motherfuckers know we on their ass, and not everybody trying to figure out what the fuck they want to do. But this is crazy, y'all, because I'm telling you how raw we are. We put our monitors on it and needed, like, I don't give a fuck. We still need to do this because I need for her to campaign. So I doubt that they're going to do anything corrupt because now they know that it might potentially get caught. But that's when he starts saying it's less than 700 now because they've been trying to find ways to help people move off the BAM or whatever. But I guarantee you, he successfully just stopped them from giving preferential treatment to somebody essentially who don't need it. But the one thing that I will say is that the only reason why she might have needed preferential treatment is because now she might not have had to go to an auction and try to get her property that way and or risk losing it if somebody else got it before she did outbid or however that shit goes, or it becoming the news that her property got foreclosed on. So that's the stuff that she was trying to avoid. And so again, I don't give a damn about none of that. I just don't want the mayor to be able to continue to be corrupt. So that's my dog in the fight. So Claressa, the long story short is go ahead and let Neely deal with what he need to deal with, because there's a lot of information about to come out in the coming weeks as it gets closer to election.
So I
And
guess
if
you
you
made a
want to
bum
hold the
deal,
side trying to
homegirl.
help him out, then I'm gonna tell you that
made
all
a
the other
bum
information is being
deal.
accumulated. Then I'm gonna just go ahead and fight the goats. And I'm gonna fight the GOATS crew, and I ain't worried about YouTube and none of that shit. But I'm gonna tell you today, like I tell everybody else, please do not underestimate me, because I'm a motherfucker that when I bite down or focus, or I feel ignored, if I feel threatened, if I feel attacked, when I'm trying to do things in the interest of justice, I'm with the shits. All the way. So that's my point. I hope everybody understand what I said. McNutt, ain't nothing I can do
I'm
about
glad he got over there real quick because I just ate, so I gotta keep it moving. I'm about to be asleep. Alright, I need to get to this gym. But he gonna give an update on TJ. What's that his name? That's not his name. I forgot his name, but McNutt named him TJ. If y'all don't know that story, then don't even worry about it. But if you know about Pastor McNutt and the young man, the way he may come on here and apologize that he was abusing, long story, but if you know the story, you know the story. So, Jedediah and, his advocate crew got on that case. And the last update we were getting, at first, the boy was placed, and he's a 17-year-old, so, but he was placed with someone of the mother's choosing. Okay, none of us was cool with that because, hey, the mama is the one who's been allowing this man to abuse him like that, and she clearly abused him too. We all saw the camera of them stabbing him and all in his underwear and his privacy and everything with their hands and whole bunch of other stuff. If you missed that story, it's a doozy. It's a doozy. So the state ended up moving him somewhere else. And we haven't really heard much since. And TD McNutt, who posts on social media all the time and has several different accounts, weird, or pastor, okay. Yeah, he recently posted on Facebook. So I believe Jed is going to give an update on what is going on with the pastor calls him Junior. I just forget his name right now. So the young boy, because
that.
Junior
Wait
my ass.
for the
He's not a
update.
junior.
My cousin,
It's
I'm
a sick
actively fighting.
pedo nickname that he has for these young men that he's bringing in his home and trafficking them and lavishing them and all that, but at the same time punishing them pretty heavily, beating the hell out of young TJ. I think that's just what he named him. Along with other stuff that we know, right? But he is with high profile people that most of them be whack, and I'm just pointing that out because he had the boys and they be at dinner together, then they go on trips, they be staying at hotels, come back and he said he teaching the boys work ethic, and he never says any of the programs or gives an example of how he's teaching them this. But he's always saying in front of the camera to them, business, 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 right? Business first, business most important. Business. When they have businesses and we're on about their business, and we going on trips so they can attend to their businesses. And it's like, what the fuck? Well, why don't you tell us what the business is so people can support the young boys? We don't know nothing about what it is that they doing, so we know what is going on. Yeah, we know what's been going on. Not to mention TJ coming on here and admitting a good lot of
To get down to the bottom of what actually happened to him on the night right before we had to go to Flint. Claressa, I don't want to get inside the family beef. I don't even want to be dealing with you. I just want to focus on Flint getting better and getting that asshole out the way. And that's it. At the end of the day, I got some fools and some idiots trying to sully my name and bother me all the goddamn time. I only pay attention to them motherfuckers, and now I have told my lawyers to handle that, and I've told my teams. So we gonna let all that stuff take place. In a month and a half, 45 days, y'all gonna see some results. Y'all might see some people crying about losing their job and income because they want to keep on fucking violating laws and rules and still be dumb enough to realize the difference between me ignoring you, letting you live, and me deciding to give you my time and attention, and now I put my word on it. Let's see if I'm any better than you. And so with that being said, y'all are gonna be getting back to being a lot more interactive and entertaining because we got our equipment back, and I got a lot of stuff to solve. I was gonna talk about the prom dresses, but I don't feel like it. I'm tired now. I've been, like I said, traveling, had a long journey. With that being said, thank you to the 2 people who gave us super chats. I'll take 5 questions, and then I'm done. 5 motherfucking questions. As a matter of fact, before I take these questions, let me just ask the chat real quick and just be honest. If there was a situation where we gotta get into it, put a 1 if you think Claressa got it. She gonna wear me the fuck out. And I ain't necessarily talking about physical fighting, but put a 3 if you want to be like, yeah, Claressa don't want Jedediah on his ass. Or if you think you say, now Jedediah, you don't want Claressa, the ghost team on your ass. Put a 1. If you think I got this, if you coming behind me, put a 3. If you coming behind Claressa, put a 1. I'm just curious to know what you feel. I just want to know 161. I mean, because if y'all think that I'm gonna get warned, fuck, I warn a nigga.
To be able to say she saved that house.
Warn a nigga, let me know. Neely swear he wore me out. He don't even understand. It don't work like that with me. I just basically get quiet and wait and pay attention like a gangster from the south side of Chicago.
3 reasons guys regret trying Rougiette Ready. 1, it kicks in way faster than expected. Rougiette Ready dissolves right under your tongue and starts working in about...
The east side, to be specific. I don't want to play with him the first game. I want him to be in back. She definitely don't want to. She a little. She already know. I ain't there. Oh, okay. So it's a little confidence in me in the chat. I ain't gonna be mad if y'all put a 1 in this bitch. It's 161. I know that some of y'all hate me. And with that being said, I got something coming up.
Glad that I got a couple of days. Got to be behind this wheel. As I work out and clean this truck, it's gonna be out like popcorn. Be out in the sun. Out in the sun. Is he freezing?
Okay, I'm sorry. I was getting some messages from some people. Okay, 5 questions and then we out of here. 5 questions and we're done. Oh, he not taking physical. He not talking physical. Something itching in the bushes to put a 1. Go ahead and act like I don't see it. Okay, Johnny G, 2024, put a 1. Oh, my mama. Okay, she got 1. It's okay. You gotta have somebody. It's got to be one motherfucker in the chat that gotta feel that way. All right, so 5 questions and then I'm done. I done talked myself to get to just. I'm gonna get in the bit. Ooh, I got a 1 from my own squad. I'm crying. 150. Come on now. This is the time. If you ask the right question, you get the right answer. You better ask the question before I get the fuck off of this live stream.
No questions. Into the...
Watch your back, Jen. She tried to put a hit on Remy Ma. Man. y'all gotta go. Y'all just, I don't care about that kind of stuff. I want to go because I pissed off somebody that was creating an injustice. That's the way I want to leave it. $7,000 less than the purses she buys. She should be embarrassed. I saw her with a whole stack of cash, talking about she making a phone call and they were saying, I've not heard her say it, so I don't know if it's true, but she allegedly always called people broke. But I don't watch her. I'm not a fan of hers. I don't support her. Well, I don't know her to know if I would or wouldn't support her. I just know that the stuff that I've seen is that people say she's very condescending to the public, very pompous. So $7,000 should be nothing. But then it's also suggested that her $8 million deal didn't pan out.
Now she wants to be the bully.
So I don't know. But hell, even if you got $3 million, like I don't know. $1 million ain't a lot of money. I can tell you that from experience. People that rent everything broke too. All right, we don't look like y'all got no questions for me. So where do we go from here? I'm gonna give her an opportunity. We're doing certain things in the background for a righteous response. And if we get it, good. If we don't, we continue. Damn, I've been following the ghost disaster for over there by the ring, mine everywhere. I mean, you done made it to Jedediah, you in trouble. And they thought 50 Cent was bad. Well, I'm glad to know people that at least know that I should not be underestimated. And that's cool. Audrea, True Train, ask a question. I don't know. Okay, Audrea, did you see Kobe's face when Alicia was giving her the business? I see Kobe's face every time I go into Harvey, and that's not on topic today. But yeah, we may be visiting that conversation soon. Developments on all that. It's getting interesting. All right, well, y'all don't got nothing to leave. Who has $8 million but won't buy a house or car cash? Who has $8 million but paying car insurance every month? I don't really know about her bag. I just know that
she has several residences, and
I just know she bogus and she's trying to like sperm her way out of 7 bands. I ain't gonna lie though, 7 bands to us is a lot of money. Like it's not, wealth is not about what you got, it's about what you can keep. So I ain't even gonna lie, you feel me? If I had a way to save $7,000, I ain't gonna save it. But you is bogus for being trying to be a spokesperson and speak on behalf of people if you ain't gonna be like, all right, save my crib and save some other people's crib too. Now you is bogus for doing that, but what really, hold on y'all. What really,
no, because that still wouldn't be fair.
What really will fuck me up is like, you rather not give the little $7,000 to a place that's under-resourced. Come on, man. That's so bogus to the constituents of Genesee County. They need that $7,000 for city services, county services. Y'all, I'm you reckless. Y'all do not. I'm sorry, they're literally dancing outside the office door. I don't know why this is happening. How often are you planning on going back on YouTube with updates on different topics now that you have your equipment? I'm not really like, I don't know. Trying to find my way. I'm tired of fighting, and you better believe she is on this line because Pap in New York, she missed the opportunity to call everybody out online. People wrote, the city's rabbit hole is deep. Just go from what I seen online. That's what I say. Help someone. She's on every platform, so we all know.
Oh, God.
Well, I don't know if Claressa watching me, but all I'm gonna say is that if Claressa is watching this, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say and I'm gonna be done, and I'm not trying to be messy, being honest. If Claressa keep on trying to help Neely, I'm gonna come on this bitch with that deed to that motherfucking house.
Nobody should be
Wait a minute, let
able to
me be
say
careful about the promises that I make, because I don't know, like when you lose your shit to a tax sale, is it just the taxes that you owe back to bad?
Yeah.
Cause shit, we can round up a good little 7 bands. I'll be up here in that motherfucking living room saying, I'm finna register to vote in this bitch.
Well, who wants
I come on that motherfucker in the kitchen whipping up some motherfucking eggs. Like, ooh, Claressa, the eggs are almost done. You better come over here, girl.
Yes.
Most testosterone boosters fail men for one simple reason. And this is how to solve it with this natural testosterone stack.
Don't take no
Let me
motherfucking
see,
pictures outside my house.
I think I saw a couple of others talking about this.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, I'm finna get off of here. If y'all know an FTM that like a cis man, and I'm not talking about, I didn't say a sissy, I said a cis man, C-I-S. If you know an FTM that, okay, Melanie, what I say? If you know an FTM that likes a cis man, and that's attractive, okay?
That's weird, Jedediah. I wish he stopped.
Send them my way. Okay?
I wish he stopped doing that.
Yeah. Okay? As a matter of fact, never mind that, because I'm obviously already in trouble. Hope I said something that we're back.
You gonna mess around after you get downfall, somebody assist his way. And they be working for knots.
We're back. We're gonna have fun, hopefully, and we're gonna.
She cut you off, like, publicly, I think.
We're not friends anymore. Claressa did nothing to me. I did nothing to her.
False. You did plenty of things. I just can't fucking say it.
People. Claressa has a cousin who is about 6'6", 250 pounds.
Yeah, my cousin, big as hell. You're scared. That's why you keep mentioning her size. You're clearly.
All right, y'all, we got to get into it. So recently, Claressa Shell's little brother, who go by Grim Gamer on social media, reacts to Nigeria video about her falling out with Claressa, and also addresses the beef between Shalita and Nigeria. So let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure y'all like this video and subscribe, all right?
I'm Claressa's brother. Let's react to this lame man.
The rumors of me and Claressa not being friends no more is true.
It wasn't a rumor. She cut you off, like, publicly, I think.
We're not friends anymore. Claressa did nothing to me. I did nothing to her.
False. You did plenty of things. I just can't fucking say it.
People just go their own separate ways. It is okay to not be friends anymore. It's okay.
With a multi-millionaire. I'm sorry. You fumbled.
This is not about Claressa. This is just to reach whoever I need to reach.
That was your problem when you was cool with us in my sister's house and shit, right? You kept always trying to reach out to people and shit.
Claressa has a cousin who is 6'6", 250 pounds.
Yeah, my cousin, big as hell. You're scared. That's why you keep mentioning her size. You're clearly.
Let's get into it about the cousin. Claressa lived with the cousin prior to her becoming successful.
Kicked it for a couple weeks. We didn't live there. We kicked it for a couple weeks.
Her and the cousin was very close.
Claressa and my cousin that we're talking about were never close.
The cousin took care of her all the way.
Claressa had already won the Olympics. My cousin never took care of her, me, or any of my mother's kids. How can somebody who can't take care of themselves or their own kids take care of me or my siblings?
So she was about, 16? However old she was when she won her first Olympics.
You used to be my sister's best friend, and you don't know how old she was when she won the Olympics? That's sad. 17, lose.
Claressa cousin, I know her because she is my auntie's goddaughter.
I'm gonna fast forward, gang. Don't nobody give a fuck.
Anywho, I am here because this cousin has been harassing me.
Y'all have been harassing each
I ain't
other.
really interested in their family shit. Everybody got family.
Y'all have been cyberbullying each other
for 10 years, literally. All because me and Claressa is close.
She's trolling you because of this. Her and Claressa going back and forth. You inserted yourself in the middle. Now you got something to do with it, gang. Now you do. And I don't like the fact that you even live in my granny's house. I swear to God.
I've done things that I am not very proud of. I've had OnlyFans. I've had private snaps, but I've never sold my body to you.
You telling me you never accepted cash money in exchange for intercourse? Never? Never?
My shit wasn't cheap. I wasn't charging no $2 or $5 or $10 to get in my private snap. I was charging people $50 to $100 to get in my private snap, and that was just for a day.
That's enough.
You have let people see your body for less than 20 bucks.
Literally.
When someone fails to pay their property taxes, the government actually creates certificates on that debt. You can buy that debt from the government by paying the taxes. Then when the owner finally pays, and if they never pay the property, it goes into foreclosure, where you can invest in it for very cheap.
But she paid to get in my private snap, got news of me, and uploaded them on social media.
The internet is forever, baby. Everyone knows that.
Got on social media numerous times, yelling in the camera. If anybody had any problems with Nigeria Johnson, she lived at such and such on such and such.
Overall, the girl was a clout chaser who had anger issues.
Nigeria continues to post subliminals about Claressa Shields. She writes, I cannot stand a bitch that get in a relationship and forget about what's important. Don't care about shit but the nigga. Them kind of bitches is slow as hell. No way I'm gonna be more focused in a relationship than the real life problem. Shit's really sad as hell. She follows up with another post saying, I stay defending people who leave me out the drive when it's time to defend me. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I have no words. If it ain't got shit to do with me, keep me out of it. I don't care what's being said or how it's being said about nobody. When you know you got motherfuckers on your ass like a booty cheek, don't give them ammunition. That's the best advice I got for everyone. Have a blessed day. Claressa responds with a post saying, when I tell you I'm fully disconnected from snakes, I mean fully. No connection whatsoever. No mutual friends, no kids, no phone calls, no nothing. I don't even like being this way, but people love throwing rocks and hiding their hands. It's the audacity of some people for me. 2026 is really teaching me a lot about people.
Oh, and y'all be like, y'all
never argue with your people online. Never argue with your people publicly. Never. Never.
Keep giving people chances. Like, so many chances. I tell people how to treat me, and if you're going to continue to do it, if it's fuck me, it's fuck you. I ain't gonna keep giving nobody no chance to play my face out my life. But if I continue to allow them to do it, it's all right. That's the real tea. Anybody I fell out with, it was because of me. They ain't stopped talking to me. I stopped talking to everybody I don't talk to. It ain't because of them, it's because of me. Ain't nobody stopped talking to me. I get rid of bitches. The fuck? Don't nobody ask them, do they stop talking to me? I'm the one stop talking. The fuck if I'm the bad person? I don't play all that. Keep playing in my face and talking behind my back. It's not me, bitches. Y'all continue to let a bitch play in y'all face. Bye. Right on. Claressa Shields, former best friend. That's not important. Let's get to it. The rumors, me and Claressa not being friends no more, it's true. We're not friends anymore. Claressa did nothing to me. I did nothing to her. People just go their own separate ways. It is okay to not be friends anymore. It's okay. Claressa has a cousin who is 6'6", 250 pounds. Let's get into it about the cousin. Claressa lived with the cousin prior to her becoming successful. Her and the cousin was very close. The cousin took care of her all the way up until she was about, 16. However old she was when she won her first Olympic. Her cousin stole from her. Her and her cousin no longer was cool. Claressa cut her off. This was a decade ago. Decade or two ago. Claressa is 32. It's almost 1 or 2 decades. They haven't been cool. I shouldn't have to get on social media and announce that me and Claressa is not cool, but it's like,
she won't leave me alone so bad. I got to the point yesterday where I'm just like, me and Claressa is not cool anymore. Leave me alone. I got a lot going on.
What we not about to do is act like, since that's what you want to call me now, my ex-best friend, Nigeria. What we not about to act like is like all it is because of me. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to do that. We're not going to make it seem like all the stuff that you got going on, the beef with you, and all that, all because she pulling up to your house, her exposing your naked pictures, her doing all player story time. What? They got girls who don't like me. They don't ride with me just because I'm your best friend. But not just that. It was because if they came fucking with you, I checked. I told many girls, you put your hand behind you, I'm gonna put my hands on you. That's them. She off limits. I told plenty of girls that. Anybody you don't argue with, I don't argue with. Had your back. They want to lie about you, lie about me. So, I don't understand why you're trying to make it seem like all this is happening and putting me as a storyline. All this because I was best friends with. No. If you were just a best friend, didn't respond to her, who ignored her, who didn't have family, telling her all your fucking business. The family gives her ammunition whenever she ain't got no more. I mean, have I reached out to everybody I can reach out to here in Flint, Michigan? I've made numerous of social media statuses. I went viral. It's like, it will not stop. And it's like, I'm not no podcast bitch. I don't mind getting in the field. I don't mind. But it's like, why do y'all want me to be in a field with someone who's obsessed with me? Like,
I need to go to the park, to the trail.
Talking about
and walking outside, me some sign.
Guys, if you're still balding in 2026, what are you doing? There's an easy solution. It doesn't cost tens of thousands of dollars. It doesn't involve surgery or weird shampoos. It's a once-a-day chew through Hims. Finasteride and minoxidil, 2 ingredients to stop hair loss and help regrow hair. Plus, it includes a proprietary blend designed to support healthier hair.
It's a thing which actually is so scary. And it's like, people will leave you for dead to bigger shit when you're wrong. And it's like, what the fuck? I never will be in this situation. Like, I never will do this to myself. Like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Like, I'm at the point where I don't know what the fuck to do. It's like, I'm gonna end up in jail because I'm getting to the point where it's, y'all not doing nothing. What else is it to do? Now, I will say this. I feel her pain where she's coming from because she's made numerous reports. I've even talked to people trying to get her put in jail. I've sent them videos. I've sent them her messages to me. She got videos where she said that she gonna kick my ass, she gonna kill me, she gonna do all type of stuff. I sent to the police, hey, go and get her. It's not enough. I don't know what's wrong with the Flint police people, but they don't do nothing with this girl. She get away with murder. She pulling up to people's houses or whatever. But my thing is this. What happened the other day, from what I saw, it looked like Bigfoot got pulled up on. Not like she pulled up on somebody, she got pulled up on. That's what it looked like to me. I was not there. I'm going off the videos that I see. So, with that being said, why you pulled up on her? I'm not pulling up on Chucky. I'm not. If I see her out somewhere and I catch her,
man, I can't. I just can't.
He was real deep when he confessed.
That shit don't work.
He himself said he was deep.
Certain stuff that how you do, like you sleep in the graveyard for like 3 days, 4 days to a week. Drink chicken, like animal blood. It's different stuff though. Like, you know, like, you know.
I like dark shit.
All this thing about, I just the life we live in, shit. We know the consequences, and everybody know the consequences in the street. Jail ain't jail, and if you don't know the consequences, get out the street. I said what I said. Stand on that.
Welcome back to another episode of Swamp Stories. For this one, we center around possibly the most dangerous rapper of all time.
Julio was since they had his damn
Sociopathic, but overall, this is a man who embodies every single bad aspect of being a rapper. We all know generally the terrible things he was about, but oftentimes the story is much deeper than what's on the surface. At the end of the day, we're all human, and given bad circumstances, we're all capable of doing some horrible things. So before you celebrate his loss, let's dive into his life, what he's been through, and what led him down an evil path. Regardless, this video is definitely one of the craziest ones yet, and I promise you do not want to miss a single second. But before we get into it, let me run the intro.
Never deploy on a Friday, unless you're using Hostinger's managed Node.js hosting.
Welcome to Jacksonville, Florida, a city long known for old people, retirement homes, and enclosed pools. I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? It's the truth though, bruh. No, really, Jacksonville has always been known as a great place to retire. In particular, buying a suburban home is cheap and there's a whole lot of land available. In fact, it's by far the biggest city in mainland America, and you can actually fit 19 San Franciscos inside of the city. This makes it easily the most spread out city in America, which is perfect for people who hate crime, neighbors, or really anything dangerous. But like anywhere in America, Jacksonville definitely has its hoods too. The hoods of Jacksonville exist almost exclusively on the north and west sides of the city. Here you'll find neighborhoods resemblant of Memphis or Baton Rouge with a whole lot of open carrying, bail bond signs, and a ton of
abandoned homes all over like this one with ripped out electrical boxes, boarded up windows. Across the street I see bullet holes all over.
Ooh, but despite the daunting looks, it was always known for being laid back, donk riding, and crazy hair wearing. But in this video, you'll see how one man single-handedly changed the vibe from being overly player to being evil and possibly a worse drill scene than Chicago. No, for real, Jacksonville is bad, and in this video, we start in one of the North Side's most infamous hoods. The video begins in an infamous Section 8 project called the Hilltop Village, also known as the Bricks for short.
The worst hood in Jacksonville, like literally the worst hood, Hilltop Village Apartments.
I'm appalled about how these residents are living.
We're gonna go to Hilltop Apartments right now.
You for real? Don't, I won't do that.
Statistically, the Bricks have always been the worst part of the city, with constant violence, robberies, raids, and more. In fact, it got so bad that the city mandated they put a metal fence around the property, only allowing residents on the premises. Well, here is where a man named Charles Jones, also known as Rick the Ruler, was seen as the landlord. Not exactly the person who collects the rents, but the man who's in charge of running all of the street activities in the project. For years, Rick was deeply feared on the north side, kind of like the boogeyman. Well, simultaneously, Rick was a father as well, with a son named Charles Jones Jr. who lived with him and his mother in the Bricks. Born in 1998, Charles Jr. experienced an extremely violent period on the north side, surrounded by nothing but chaos and violence. This made lending a normal childhood nearly impossible for Charles, as focusing on school and even sleeping at night were difficult tasks. He basically grew up roaming around the projects, seeing things that he probably should not have been seeing. Then at 11 years old, he witnessed something that truly no kid should ever see. It's a late afternoon in the Bricks, and Charles and his friends are hanging out in the courtyard. As they're playing games and minding their own business, suddenly they start hearing a loud confrontation. So Charles naturally looks over and sees his best friend's mom and her boyfriend getting into a fight. The argument gets heated, and sadly the man lets his emotions get the best of him. He whips out and makes a terrible decision. The man runs away, and everyone comes in to help the woman. They rush her to the hospital, where thankfully she survives. Regardless though, witnessing this at 11 would scar Charles Jr. for life.
It was so crazy. I was so close to my dog at the time. I'm watching him cry like, and then I'm seeing her lay down on the steps. She lift her arm straight up. She like, I'm shot. I'm like, this really going on, you feel me? That night, like, that just fucked my mind up. That just showed me like, cause you know when you a kid, you don't think death for real. That showed me that death is real, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, she actually died?
Nah, she ain't died, but I'm looking at her bleed and, you know what I'm saying?
Hilltop was stamped in his mind by this horrible incident, and it was no place to continue to grow up. So thankfully, at the age of 12, his father moved to the west side of Jacksonville, relieving him from all the problems of the bricks. So starting in the 6th grade, little Charles went to school and lived on the west side of Jacksonville, which really wasn't that much better. Okay, it was definitely better than living in the bricks, but it also wasn't Beverly Hills. Let me explain. Charles moved to the corner of 24th Street, located in an area full of low to middle class houses. Here, because it's also low income, things do happen, but it's nothing like the constant chaos of the bricks. Well, while living here, Charles befriended a man named Dwayne who lived right up the block on 25th. Little did Charles know the seemingly friendly Dwayne had an arrest record as long as Crip Mac's vocabulary. Okay, so it wasn't that long, but it included some disgusting crimes that I can't say on YouTube. All I can say is that Dwayne is registered. Regardless, Charles doesn't know this, and Dwayne is often at his house hanging out. They quickly become homeboys, and that takes us to May 11th, 2011. It's a Wednesday afternoon, and Junior comes home to an argument right outside of his house. Dwayne and his father are yelling at each other over something that seems to be minor. So little Charles thinks nothing of it and heads to his room. Regardless, he doesn't want this kind of energy near his son, so Big Charles asks Dwayne to leave his house. Unfortunately, Dwayne doesn't respect his wishes, and the two get into a squabble. They get it in front of the house, and from what we know, Big Charles beats his Obviously, Dwayne is now even more pissed, and he decides to head back home. Big Charles is kind of feeling good about himself, and he really doesn't think much of it, just another fight in the hood. But little does he know, Dwayne has a couple of screws loose. At 12:30 a.m., little Charles is asleep in his room, and Big Charles is in the living room watching TV. That's when he hears a loud knock on the door. So he gets up, sees that it's Dwayne, and decides to let him in. He assumes that Dwayne is there to make peace or to apologize for the argument, but sadly that's not the case. Either way, at first, Dwayne plays the part and he sits down to talk with Charles. They discuss what happened for a few minutes until Dwayne's emotions get the best of him and he whips out. Police would arrive to discover Charles lifeless on the ground and Dwayne sitting on the couch. Sadly, there was no saving Big Charles, and they were left to investigate Dwayne. So what happened? Well, we had an argument on the couch, and things went bad. It's simple as that. So right then and there, police put Dwayne in handcuffs and take him straight to jail.
Open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes, and we'll spy you up to $200. Apply now.
For Charles Jr., this was a terrifying and devastating moment of his life, something you can never recover from. His father was his idol, and he always dreamed of making the football team to impress him. So to experience something like this at just 12 years old, I can't even imagine.
He just died, you know what I'm saying? I was young, I was like 12, 13, so you know what I'm saying? We didn't get to do much together, like, you know? That shit put my head up. Like, that's every, like, my family, his side of the family, it was just a messed up situation. Like, I was like, damn, like, people really kill, like, take somebody you love from you, like.
The tragic incident deeply affected Junior's outlook on the world as his heart was starting to turn cold. Understandably, after the loss of his father, he began fighting in school and spiraling down a bad path. His fights were on a daily basis, he started getting suspended, expelled, and even carrying a blick. Basically, without a father figure, little Charles started to act way too old for his age, even going to clubs at just 13 years old.
That's when, like, I jumped out the porch, like, I got my first gun, and, you know what I'm saying, evolving and seeing, like, different stuff coming at me so fast, and my first clubs, I went to my first clubs, fighting and all type of crazy stuff. There was just a lot going on around me, like, okay, we walk in the clubs, like, we walking in every club, like, 50 deep.
At this point, at just 13 years old, he was already jumped off the porch and hanging with the older guys in the neighborhood. And in order to prove himself and impress his peers, he started to act completely wild. Kind of like a young Gangsta Williams, he was already known for letting that heat blow, and that's why he earned the nickname of Foolio. But even though Foolio was now fully in the streets, he remained going to school for one particular reason. The boy loved football, and at this point he still had Division I dreams. For this reason, he steadily kept his grades up in order to make the football team. So even after all the tragedies in his life, there was still hope for a young Foolio. Because of his love for football, Fulio had a very successful freshman year of high school. But then, while everything is going well, sadly another tragedy would hit him hard. That introduces us to Fulio's best friend, an 11th grader named Aaron Man Brooks. Fulio and Aaron grew up together as kids in North Jacksonville, with basically Aaron being the big homie. Well, despite Fulio moving away, he and Aaron actually remained close as Aaron wanted to see him succeed. Aaron was actually a good football player himself, but at this point he was completely mixed up in the dangerous North Jacksonville politics. And that takes us to April 14th, 2014, 9:30 p.m. It's a Monday night and Aaron is walking back home after picking up some food. Well, little does he know, a car has been slowly following behind him ever since he left the store. Eventually, he notices the lights, looks behind him, and sees a man hopping out of a car. So instantly, Aaron starts sprinting down 4th Street, but sadly, the man catches up. The neighbors call 911 after hearing shots, and Jacksonville police arrive. Unfortunately, they don't see a victim, so they just write it off as a false alarm. Maybe Tupac wasn't lying when he said, "They don't give a f*** about us." Like, how is it even possible that you did an investigation when somebody was literally on the street? Well, Jacksonville sucks, and because of this, Aaron's family had to worry all night, where is our son? Is he at a friend's house? Where did he go? And sadly, that takes us to the next morning. It's 7 in the morning, and a group of high schoolers are walking to the bus stop. As they're approaching the bus stop on 4th Street, sadly, that's where they notice their classmate Aaron. They're obviously terrified and they call 911. The police come and figure out who it is, and word starts to spread around Jacksonville. For Fulio, he was in 2nd period when he discovered the news, and once he learned, he completely dropped to his knees. He's absolutely devastated that he just lost his best friend, but quickly the pain turns into anger. This is Fulio's breaking point. The loss of Aaron tipped a 15-year-old Fulio over the edge as he no longer saw life in a positive manner, and now he wanted to give up on football. Now he was purely angry and wanted to just be a demon in the streets. And during his sophomore year of high school, an opportunity to be in the streets would arise. Or at least he thought. He begins hanging with the older homies who he used to hang out with when he first moved to the west side of Jacksonville. When he used to hang out with them, they were all kids, but now they're all grown up and they're repping a clique called Headfirst ENT, also known as HFE. HFE were basically a group of teenagers who jumped off the porch together and didn't really rep a block. Instead, they just repped West Jacksonville. The story goes that after giving up on football, Fulio started to approach them to hang out.
Like, hey, remember me? I was the little kid who moved to West Jacksonville and used to be your friend.
Unfortunately, HFE still saw him as the broke little dirty kid from the bricks. So basically, they'd only hang out with him in private, and once he approached them trying to be HFE, they completely laughed and mocked him.
Aw, come on, what?
They took Fulio as a joke, and they did not want him running with them in the streets. In particular, a guy Fulio looked up to named HFE Big Baby went from cool big homie to "get out of my face, little dude." This rejection could not have come at a worse time. Fulio lost his father and his best friend, so now he was really just looking for the best of him. It's me versus everyone. He goes on social media and makes the bold decision to diss Big Baby and the rest of the HFE members. I don't care who you think you are and how many people you hang with, I'm not scared of any of you. This is obviously a risky move as Fulio lives in their neighborhood, goes to school in their neighborhood, and he's way outnumbered. But this dude does not care. He's the definition of a crash out. And that takes us to December 10th, 2014. It's an early Wednesday morning in West Jacksonville and HFE Big Baby is waiting for the bus. He has his headphones in and is completely zoned out, no idea of what's going on around him. But little does he know, a man in a mask is creeping up on him from across the street. The man in the mask walks right up to the bus stop, and with HFE Big Baby not paying attention, he lets loose. Bang. Police quickly arrive to the scene, but sadly it's far too late.
Let it be justice served, oh God!
A small prayer group made their presence known in Grand Park today. They prayed for healing.
All that they need is in the house, Lord.
Their church sits at the intersection of 13th and Canal, where this morning this was the scene as police roped it off, gathering evidence. Pastor David Bennett says he heard at least 50 Rounds go off around 6:30 a.m.
Well, I was getting down in the house because I heard the rounds going off. So I was just getting out, and my kids were getting out too in the house.
When he came outside, he saw the body on the street. We now know the victim is 16-year-old Devron Crowden. This is an older picture of him his grandmother sent us. To his friends, he was known as simply Big Baby.
The word quickly spreads around the community, prompting grieving and even protests.
Now protesters are taking to the street near the shooting scene, closing the roads once again to demand answers.
For Big Baby's classmates, they would receive the news from an announcement at school. Obviously, everyone is shocked and saddened, but Big Baby's close friends, they're devastated. Then quickly, the pain turns into anger, and they're eager to know who's responsible. Well, while everyone is posting commemoration for Big Baby, Fulio was doing the exact opposite. He instantly clowns Big Baby on Facebook, making everyone assume that he did it, or at least that he had something to do with it. As soon as they see this, HFE automatically assumed that it was Fulio who did it, and now they're on his trail. But because they're at school and don't have weapons, they first seek to fight him. So lunchtime comes around and 3 HFE members go searching for Fulio. They spot him in line at the cafeteria, they surround him, and they start whooping his ass. Quickly though, the security guards break it up, and the sides go their separate ways. Whether or not Fulio actually eliminated Big Baby, HFE take it as a fact, and now they want him gone. Fulio knows this, and he also knows that once he leaves the campus, the consequences might be serious. So instead of waiting for the school day to finish, he goes to the bus stop early in order to ride home safely. So Fulio hops on the bus, and thankfully there's no rivals aboard. He feels like he's home safe. Long story short, the bus arrives at 2:30 and Fulio hops off with no worries in the world. In fact, he's so not worried that instead of rushing home, he walks to the bushes to roll up. Well, as he's walking to the bushes, all he hears is bang. He's hit up from behind and he loses all feelings in his legs. So he desperately tries to crawl into the bushes, but sadly he can't move fast enough. That's when he senses somebody right behind him and he turns around and looks up. A man in a mask is standing over him and Fulio figures that this is it. This is how it all ends. But after making eye contact, the man shakes his head and simply runs away. For whatever reason, he spares Fulio, but still, Fulio is gravely injured. So he calls 911 for an ambulance and police arrive in 3 minutes. When they arrive, he's relieved and he figures that they're going to tend to his wounds. But instead, they simply open a notebook and start asking him questions. Was it you who killed Big Baby this morning?
Man, what? Just take me to the hospital.
Fulio is frustrated that they're not even helping him, but thankfully an ambulance arrives in under 10 minutes. After undergoing surgery, he thankfully survives, but he still has a major recovery left. Yeah! But still, this incident woke him up good. Or at least it should have. What this should have taught him is that trolling somebody's death is not a good idea, especially in Jacksonville. And that's assuming that he isn't responsible for Big Baby and only that he trolled him after his death. But whether or not he was the one who did it, the beef was still definitely on. Thankfully though, Fulio would be completely off the streets for the next 5 months as he had to relearn how to walk having hip surgery. Still though, what happened to him had serious implications in Jacksonville. And that brings us right back to his original hood, the Hilltop Village. After learning of what happened to Fulio, the Hilltop Village were ready to go to war for him. They knew he was by himself against everyone in West Jacksonville, so they stepped up in his defense. Well, not to say that HFE wasn't intimidating, but Hilltop Village is a whole different animal. So let me introduce you to their main factors. Basically, all of Fulio's early childhood friends didn't make it in school and jumped into the streets. These would be Kendre, Trey D, Dirk, Kojak, T-Shot, Spaz, and many more, trust me. Essentially, these are all the teenagers who stepped up on Fulio's behalf against HFE. Things are about to get crazy in Jacksonville, but while Fulio is recovering in the hospital, sadly he would take another tragic loss. It's now March of 2015 and Fulio is almost done with his recovery. He's finally walking again and he'll be back on the streets of Jacksonville in no time. Well, while Fulio is away recovering, his homies in the bricks are outside wilding. In particular, his 16-year-old cousin named Kendre jumped off the porch and is now riding around in Stolos. He's recently known for hitting licks, taking cars, and really doing anything in the books. Well, quickly, his bad behavior would catch up to him. March 19th, 2015. Kendre Alston is joyriding a stolen car through North Jacksonville. After riding around for about 15 minutes, he decides to head back to the bricks. So he turns into the gate, and that's when he notices a Jacksonville sheriff behind him. After running his plates, the sheriff realizes that it's a stolen car, so he hits his lights. Instantly, Kendre speeds off and he drives to the cemetery right across the street. As he's driving through the grass, he notices another sheriff waiting at the exit. The officer is standing outside of his car, expecting Kendre to slow down and put his hands up. But Kendre has no plans for stopping as he absolutely gasses toward the exit. As the car is flying towards him, thankfully the officer is able to jump out of the way, but that's when Kendre smacks into his car. After crashing, somehow Kendre is able to get up as he hops out of the car and begins running away. However, officers notice a blick in his hands, and sadly that's when they have to do what they do. This was a devastating loss for Fulio, his family, and the entire north side of Jacksonville. Kendre was one of his closest childhood friends, so this was yet another terrible loss for Fulio. But not only was it devastating, but the community also felt like it was potentially unjustified.
Well, police say that 16-year-old who was shot and killed yesterday was driving in a stolen car with another person. Both of them had stolen handguns, and they used the car to allegedly try to run over a police officer before leading that police officer on a foot pursuit. But community activists say in light of all the recent police shootings, it would help if police had video evidence. This Facebook picture was posted on Kendre Alston's page by one of his friends 2 hours after he was shot by a police sergeant following a car pursuit and chase. Even though police say Alston flashed a gun, community activist Diallo Sekou is skeptical about what really happened. He says body cameras on police would leave nothing to question.
Which brings in a little bit of responsibility and transparency of the sheriff department to be able to see hands-on what it is that they were dealing with directly.
Because there's no footage, we'll truly never know what happened, so I guess we've got to take the officer's word. And now we fast forward to a very important chapter. At this point, Fulio is home from the rehab center and the beef with HFE is fully on. November 3rd, 2015. It's a late afternoon in West Jacksonville and HFE members are outside hanging out on Ellis Street. In particular, two of these are twin brothers AMP and Bando, who happen to be Big Baby's best friends. Well, because the beef has been dried, the HFE members are outside comfortable, and in fact, Bando walks to the store by himself. So at 7 o'clock, he casually walks up Palafox Street towards the liquor store. Well, as he's walking up the street, he randomly hears an eruption of gunfire. Bando is shocked and he instantly starts running back to the block to protect his brothers. Unfortunately, it's too late as his twin brother AMP is critically hit. The ambulance arrives relatively quickly, but sadly it's far too late. All of his family and friends come around to grieve. It's truly a tragic scene. By nighttime, after police clear the scene, they get the candlelights together and they grieve his loss. But while all of this is going on, they all start to wonder one thing. Where is his twin brother? So instantly, Bando's family and friends start calling him, but strangely, he doesn't pick up. So now everyone is nervous. Where could Bando be? The HFE members remember that he went somewhere right before things cracked off, but they don't recall exactly where. So now all of his family and friends begin to scour the neighborhood. After scouring through the neighborhood, they sadly discover Bando a block down from the store. How could this be possible? He was over 4 blocks away from the scene. Everyone, of course, is devastated, but they're also extremely confused. Did the assailants go back around and find him, or what other explanation is there? Well, as it turns out, Bando somehow caught a stray while he was running back to the scene. The chances of this happening are like 1 in a million, but either way, the family was absolutely devastated. Now the big question is who did this? Everyone instantly assumes that it had to be Fulio. Because this coincidentally happened right after he got on his feet, and also the Facebook trolling, it was pretty obvious that he was somehow responsible. So at this point, everyone in the streets of Jacksonville is under the impression that Fulio eliminated Big Baby, AMP, and Bando, 3 bodies for a 16-year-old. Due to all of this, Fulio is truly becoming known as a demon from the bricks. And sadly, from here, things would only get worse.
Cupid's biggest sale, 24 hours only. Yep, just today. Cupid's Hypnosis is running the biggest sale ever. The new Hypnosis 3.0 just dropped. If you
Sadly, after the losses of AMP and Bando, HFE would lose a ton more members. These would include both of Big Baby's brothers, Lenford, Lil Rap, Bubba, John, Blow Crazy, and Dion. Not to be dramatic or disrespectful, but Fulio and Hilltop were absolutely wiping out HFE. And because the beef was so one-sided, they were pretty much out and about doing the most random things. And that takes us to Christmas Eve 2015. The holiday spirit is here, and it's a joyous and wonderful time for most people. Families are gathered together and children are awaiting their presents from Santa. Oh, it's the best time of the year, a time where people can leave the street activities alone. Just kidding, cause for the Hilltop boys, they're on their usual behavior. Instead of being gathered around with their families, Fulio and his boys are out and about in the suburb of Orange Park, Florida. Basically, they spend the day window shopping, talking to girls, and getting food at the food court, a typical day for teenagers. Then when the mall closes at 8, they decide to go to the movie theater. Long story short, they movie hop for hours and then empty into the parking lot at midnight. As they're walking through the parking lot, for whatever reason, Fulio whips out a blick and all of his homies do too. They basically gather around their car blasting music and wave their blicks in the air, which definitely alarmed the suburban community. The boys are used to doing this in the projects with 0 consequences, so they're not expecting anything to happen. Then at 12:15 they began hearing sirens, and before they know it, they're surrounded by Orange Park police. Welp, just like that, Fulio catches his very first case. So instead of spending Christmas with his family, Fulio spends the day in the local jail. Thankfully, he's still a minor, but regardless, this is a pretty serious case. In Florida, illegal possession of a stolen weapon plus reckless endangerment, not something to scoff at all. So during the holiday season, Fulio is faced with the potential of 5+ years in jail. However, because he has no record and he's able to convince the judge that he's a good kid who simply made a mistake, the judge decides to be lenient. They ultimately sentence him to 1 month in juvenile hall, not knowing that he's an absolute menace in the streets of Jacksonville. Well, regardless, Fulio spends Christmas Day to late January in juvenile hall until he's finally released. Demon's back. But actually, not quite. Let me explain. At this point, HFE had taken so many losses that they basically threw the white flag. So realistically, Fulio no longer had to worry about anyone in the streets of Jacksonville. He's now 18 years old with a whole life ahead of him, and not to mention no criminal record. He can take the GED and then go play JUCO football, or he can get a job, find a talent, who knows, something positive. So over the next year and some change, this is exactly what Fulio does. He tries to live a very positive life. Yeah, I've allegedly got some bodies under my belt, but that's the past. I'm older now, and I can move on. By all accounts, Fulio was headed in a great direction. But then out of nowhere, a horrible incident would ruin it. And that introduces us to Fulio's first cousin and very close friend Zion Brown. Kind of like Fulio, Zion is a young dude in the streets, lost and trying to find his way. However, unlike his cousin Fulio, Zion is known to be a good-hearted kid who's simply born into the wrong circumstance. Well, if Zion's not hanging with his big cousin, he's always hanging with a close childhood friend named Trey Shorty, somebody who he finds to be trustworthy. But little does he know, despite being day one homies, Trey Shorty is not a trustworthy friend. In fact, he has no loyalty to his best friend Zion. Instead, he's only truly loyal to another friend group, one called the Aces. The Aces are a crew located in the south suburb of Orange Park, and they're led by a guy named Young and Ace. And these guys, despite being from the suburbs, are with all of the activities and are not to be trusted. The Aces are hungry for money, and they're willing to cross anyone to get it. So sadly, Fulio's little cousin Zion would learn the hard way. February 5th, 2017. It's a Sunday afternoon, and Trey and Zion are set to hang out like any other weekend of their lives. But on this day, little does Zion know, Trey wants to rob him. So at 3 p.m., Trey casually pulls up to his house. They sit down on the couch, play video games, and it feels like a day just like any other. But then out of nowhere, Trey reaches over and takes Zion's blick from him. At first, Zion obviously thinks he's playing, but then Trey ups the blick on him. He then proceeds to take some of his possessions, and he ends up walking out the door. A car quickly pulls up to pick him up, and Trey is off in the distance. At this moment, Zion is absolutely stuck and lost for words. What just happened? Did my childhood best friend just take my blick and rob me? There's no way. When reality finally kicks in, Zion feels nothing but pure betrayal. My childhood best friend really just robbed me. Why in the world would he do this? So Zion instantly starts informing his homies, and in particular, one guy is pissed. This would be a close friend from Hilltop named Antoine, but also known as Y in our show. From all accounts, Antoine is a stepper, not somebody you want to mess with. And once he learned about what happened to his little homie Zion, he was willing to go out and get revenge. For the next few weeks, Antoine surfs around the city of Jacksonville looking for Trey Shorty. I want to rob you and get all the stuff back from my little homie. Well, finally in mid-May, Antoine catches Trey Shorty alone in his car and he decides to push up on him. And from what we know, not only does Antoine take all of his stuff, but he also finishes it off with some violence. He pops him in the leg to send a message. Don't mess with Zion or anyone from Hilltop ever again. Thankfully, Trey survives, but Antoine's intimidation tactic did not work out very well. Instead of being scared, Trey Shorty now wages war with Antoine. You put me in the hospital, I'm not gonna let that slide.
We hired a big media agency last year to handle all of our meta ads. I spent well over 6 figures on their fee, and it didn't work out. And obviously, my first instinct was Upwork to find us a freelancer before, because I have been...
May 27th, 2017. By this time, Foolio is already an up-and-coming rapper, which I'll get to in a second. And because of this, he has a place in Daytona Beach where he can duck off from the dangerous Jacksonville streets and focus on his music. Well, on this particular Saturday, Zion desperately wants to spend the rest of the weekend with Foolio in Daytona. However, because the two recently got into an argument, Foolio does not want his cousin Zion around.
He called me, he was like, big cuz, that's my cousin, you know what I'm saying? He like, cuz, let me come to Daytona with you. I'm trying to come to Daytona. I was mad at him for a dumbass reason. Like, I straight told him, no, bro, you can't call me. I don't f you right now. Hung up on him.
So instead of spending the weekend with his cousin in Daytona, he resorts to staying home and inviting over Antoine. Little does Zion know, Antoine is being hunted by the Aces. To him, it's just like any other Saturday. Antoine comes over to his house and they sit on the couch playing video games. And during the course of the afternoon, Antoine posts an Instagram story clearly showing that he's at Zion's house. This is pretty typical, and Zion doesn't really think anything of it. But little does he know, this is the worst mistake Antoine could make. Trey Shorty sees the story and automatically recognizes Zion's house. So instantly, he and an unidentified friend make some horrible plans. That takes us to 1:15 in the morning. Everyone is knocked out asleep on the couch while Antoine is up on his phone. That's when suddenly everyone is woken up to a burst of shots. Antoine instantly grabs Zion's sisters and drags them behind the couch. Then when the shots finally stop, Zion gets up from the other side of the couch to make sure his sisters are okay. But simultaneously, that's when glass shatters and a man comes jumping through the window. The intruder then gets up and runs into the living room, and there all he sees is Zion. And even though Zion isn't his target, the man still makes a terrible decision. Ambulances quickly arrive, but sadly it's far too late to save Zion.
Well, Tom, she's describing this as a home invasion in which the gunman made forced entry into the back door. Now, I got to tell you that what's really disturbing about all this is that while all this was happening, there were some small children in this home who had to witness the horror unfold right before their eyes.
This was a tragic moment in Jacksonville, especially because Zion wasn't even the target and he was known to be a great guy. But on a positive note, both Antoine and Zion's sisters were able to recover in the hospital. While in Daytona, Foolio would receive the devastating news. My little cousin, no way, the one who never bothered anyone. Foolio was crushed by the news, but on top of this, he even started to blame himself. If I just would have let him come to Daytona, this never would have happened.
I was crushed. Cause it's like, I could have saved him, like, you know? That shit ain't like, that shit like crushed me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yet another devastating and senseless loss in the life of Fulio. Previous to this incident, Fulio had actually been doing pretty well. His rap career was starting to take off, he wasn't involved in any crime, and on top of this, he was living a pretty good life. But just like back when he was in high school, whenever he takes a devastating loss, it sends him down a really bad path. It's almost like whenever things are going good, something bad happens, and then he turns into a complete destructive demon. So just like that, the loss of Zion reignited the evil flame inside of Fulio. Now Fulio's first question is who did this? This is when his family and friends tell him about Trait Shorty and instantly he wants revenge on him. But then they inform him about the Aces in general and that a rapper named Young and Ace has been dissing Zion. This is all it takes. Fulio's savage mode is fully activated on the Aces. So first he discovers that both Trait Shorty and Young and Ace live in the suburb of Orange Park, Florida. And after watching music videos and examining social media posts, he deduces exactly where they live. In particular, he finds the exact address of Young and Ace's mom's house. This is bad news. Fulio instantly sends a message of revenge for his cousin Zion. So just a week after the incident, Ace's mom's house is absolutely lit up.
One boy shot my house up. I was right there on the bed, me and my little brother Quan. And they shot my house up from right up. This is my mama's right up. They shot my mama's house up. They shot this part right up. My mama was in the room. They shot that up.
Just like that, a new beef is stamped in the Jacksonville streets. On one side, you have the Ace Top Killers, also known as ATK, which is obviously led by Young and Ace. By this time, Ace is already a successful rapper, giving him the advantage because he has money and reach. On top of this, instead of claiming a specific block like Fulio, the Aces are spread out all throughout Jacksonville. They can basically hit you from any angle, and they definitely have the financial backing to do so. But as we know, Fulio was not the type to bow down to anyone. He's definitely up for the challenge. On top of this time around, he's not just representing Hilltop. In fact, he has a gang behind him. He would call them KTA, which stands for Kill Them All. Basically, KTA would be everyone from Hilltop and surrounding areas who mess with Fulio. So now the beef is officially on. KTA versus ATK. Jacksonville is divided. But in the meantime, there is hope that the beef settles down. Let me explain. After collecting the necessary evidence, phone records, and witness testimony, Trait Shorty is arrested for the murder of Zion Brown. So in theory, because the man who's responsible for kicking off the beef is now arrested, the beef could possibly end. But when you're dealing with a maniac like Fulio, you still want revenge in a major way. And that takes us to June 5th, 2018. It's a major day for Ace and his family as his younger brother Quan just graduated high school and it's his friend 2-3's birthday. So of course it's celebration time and Ace wants to do something for his boys. However, because of the existing beef, being out and about in Jacksonville is not a smart idea. And because of this, both the graduate and the birthday boy do not want to go out. It's just too dangerous. But for whatever reason, Ace is not scared of Fulio and his goons and he tells his boys, "F it, let's go out." Pretty much everyone except Ace is hesitant to go out, but because he's the big dog, his word goes. So now the plan is to hit them all so Ace can get them fresh, and then for family to gather around for dinner after. At 6 o'clock, Ace, Quan, 2-3, and a friend named 4 hit the mall. The particular mall is located all the way on the eastern end of Jacksonville, so they're really not worried about seeing ops. Realistically, if they're in and out quick and move low-key, they'll be completely fine. But the problem is that they do the complete opposite. Not only are they loud and take their time, but they also go on Instagram Live clearly showing their location. They're simply enjoying the moment, and because they're going to meet their family at the restaurant at 7, they're really not too worried. So at 7 o'clock, the 4 boys gather with their family at the Wasabi Steakhouse just minutes from the mall. The dinner goes amazing as Quan and 2-3 are surprised with gifts and a whole lot of affection. Then the dinner finishes at 8:30 and they all empty out into the parking lot.
See our legal team. See our passion. See our experience.
Here they're all tipsy, gathered around and having the time of their lives. But little do they know the rivals saw the previous Instagram Live at the mall and they're on their way to hunt them. Everyone is oblivious except for Quan, who for whatever reason has an intuition that they need to leave. So he approaches Ace and tells him that he thinks they should leave, but Ace blows him off and tells him to simply relax. Time is ticking before the rivals arrive in the area, and coincidentally, 2-3 now wants to leave as well. He tells Ace that he wants to leave to go link with the girl, but Ace tells him to relax and that can wait till later. At this point, it's almost 9 o'clock, and the birthday boy and the graduate both want to leave. What are we still doing in this parking lot? It's time to leave.
You need to leave!
Well, shortly after 9 o'clock, Ace finally concedes and they all hop in the car and take off. But right as they're leaving, the rivals arrive in the area. 2-3 is driving, Ace is in the passenger seat, and 1 and 4 are in the back. At this point, they're all in good spirits. 2-3 is about to go link with the girl, Ace is happy the night went smoothly, Quan is relieved that nothing happened, and 4, he's probably just happy too. Well, as they leave the mall, they end up at a red light right down the street. While they're sitting at the light not paying attention, a car full of KTA members pulls alongside them. Then out of nowhere, all they hear is bang. An absolute barrage of fire hits the car. Everyone ducks down and Ace yells at 2-3 to drive away, but they're not accelerating and there's no response from 2-3, so Ace simply hops out of the car. When the shots finally stop and the rivals screech away, Ace crawls back to the car to check on his friends. The car is completely riddled, and once he looks inside, he simply drops to his knees. Sadly, Quan, 2-3, and 4 are all gone. Then when Ace is on the ground grieving, he realizes that he's hit too. An ambulance quickly arrives and thankfully Ace survives. When he finally wakes up, he thinks that had to be a nightmare. There's no way that just happened. But sadly, this is when he's hit with the horrendous news.
We continue to follow local breaking news from the south side. The search is on for a killer. 3 people shot and killed, another wounded critically in an apparent shooting on the south side near the UNF campus and St. John's Town Center. People are telling us that they're shocked that something like this happened in that area, an area not known for this type of crime. The way this all came down is apparently one car is sitting there, another car drives up beside it, and somebody in that second vehicle opens fire to the 4 who were sitting in the adjacent car. 3 people died right there at the scene.
Your brother passed on his birthday, and his 2 friends passed as well. Ace is absolutely crushed beyond comprehension. You couldn't imagine such a bad outcome, especially on such a joyous day.
I slipped. You know what I'm saying? Why I want to point.
Not only does he start to blame himself, but from here the situation would only get worse for the young rapper. Because of the severity of the incident, it was constantly all over the local news, and given that Young and Ace is a popular rapper and the lone survivor, his picture was all over the broadcast. As most people feel terrible for him in this situation, one particular person has other intentions. And surprisingly, this time it's not Fulio. Instead, it's the owner of a local gun store who automatically recognizes Ace's picture. He sees on the news that Ace is a convicted felon, and he realizes that he entered his store, which is actually a federal crime. So while Ace is in the hospital recovering and grieving, a man is out there trying to get him arrested. So just days later, police arrive to the hospital and put Ace in handcuffs. Not only did he lose his brother and 2 friends, but now he's facing a felony. Possibly the worst week he could ever have imagined. That was just a crazy story, but now we circle back to the man of the hour. The obvious question now is Fulio responsible? But come on, we all know the answer. But to make matters even worse, Fulio has zero sympathy for Ace and his family. You took my cousin Zion, so I took your brother and 2 friends. So the now locally famous Fulio decides to take his trolling to the next level of disrespect. He decides to make a Rest in Piss 23 shirt and post it on Instagram.
You wore a t-shirt that said Rest in Piss 23.
Yeah.
With a picture of him on the shirt?
Yeah.
But Fulio is such a crash out that he simply doesn't care. In fact, he even takes it to the next level. Shortly after the tragic incident, he releases a song called F That where he says, "Oh, you a demon? Well, I turned your whole team into angel dust." He also snitches on his friend by saying, "Could have killed the rapper, but Lil Ron f***ed up the drill." Fulio obviously doesn't care about consequences, and he's basically owning up to the incident. And the craziest part is that in the song, he gives up his mom's address, basically saying, "Come do something, I bet you won't. I bet you won't. I bet you won't." Y'all know that song. The point is that Fulio is a next level demon. He doesn't seem to care about his life, consequences, or anything that happens to his rivals. So after eliminating 3 aces, he's starting to feel like the top dog of Jacksonville. Nobody can mess with me. However, when you're beefing with another big dog like Young and Ace, what goes around comes around too. And that takes us to July 23rd, 2018. It's a hot Friday afternoon in Jacksonville, and Fulio and his boys are outside hosting a block party. Over 500 people are there with music, food, games, and overall good vibes. Given the large advertisement and size of the party, Fulio and KTA are not worried about rivals. This is our city, we're up on the score, and we ain't worried. Well, on the other hand, ATK are not thrilled when they see the flyer, and they see this as an opportunity to
open a Chime checking account in 2 minutes, and we'll spot you up to $200.
Regardless, as the day turns into the night, the block party goes by with no incidents. Then the night comes around, the kids go inside, and it's just Fulio, his homies, and some girls outside.
They drinking, twerking, and having a time of their lives.
But little do they know, the aces are on their way to disturb the peace. At 9:50, a car full of aces approaches the party. They drive around a couple times looking for Fulio, but he's nowhere to be found. They're frustrated that they can't find him, so now they resort to the second option. At 10 p.m., they spot Fulio's best friend named Trey D walking by himself down the street. So that's when an ATK member hops out of the passenger seat and walks right up to Trey D. Yet another devastating loss for Fulio. Not only was Trey D a close childhood friend, but he was also known to be Fulio's enforcer. In fact, Fulio even referred to him as 8, allegedly due to the 8 bodies he caught. Yeah, Trey D was a major enforcer for Fulio. The loss of Trey D truly hurt Fulio, to the point where he dedicated a song to him called Dirk's Story. In the song, he talks about how they started off hating each other as kids, but then became brothers over the years. And more importantly, he wages revenge on his behalf. But thankfully, over the next few months, the beef would be calm and there would be no revenge. However, this wasn't a sign of peace, but rather that both sides were becoming harder to find. With Fulio and Ace's careers on the rise, both of them were pretty much always out of the hood. And more importantly, whenever they'd go out of town, their entire crews would come with them, meaning that the Jacksonville streets were calm for whatever those days were. Still though, during this period, the beef was forcing people in Jacksonville to choose a side. You're either with the Aces or with Fulio. For some people it was an easy choice, but for others who had ties on both sides, it was a pretty big dilemma. And that introduces us to a very important person named Willie Boscoon Anderson.
What up, man?
Willie is Fulio's older cousin and somebody he looked up to a lot as a kid. He was a well-known hustler, ladies' man, and feared street dude in Jacksonville. Well, unfortunately, this kind of lifestyle got Willie a 10-year prison sentence in 2013. While he was away, Fulio deeply missed his cousin as he would constantly post about Free Willie. Somehow these wishes would come true as Willie was released after 5.5 years. Yay, Willie is home. The family It's more complicated than what you think. Unfortunately, Willie has bloodlines on both sides of the deadly beef. On one side, Fulio is his cousin, but on the other side, Queso is actually his half-brother, the son of his dad. So as you would imagine, this put Willie in a major predicament. I don't want to cut off my cousin and his family, but I also don't want to beef with my blood brother. So naturally, when Willie comes home, he tries to be cool with both sides. I don't want any beef, and I have nothing to do with what you guys got going on. So in the meantime, he tries his best to stay out of the beef, stay out of prison, and pursue his rap career. He releases songs like How I'm Comin' and How We Comin', which both absolutely slap. Well, the songs and his reputation give him a slight buzz in Jacksonville, enough to headline a club called Paradise Gentlemen's Club. And that takes us to January 15th, 2019. It's a big day for Willie as he's set to perform at a club for the very first time. So naturally, he, his father, and his brother Queso head to the club together in a Chevy Tahoe. They arrive to the club, Willie performs, and overall it's a great night. So at 2 in the morning, they exit out of the club truly feeling good about themselves. Big Bro just came home from prison and he's already doing well for himself. It's a cause for a celebration. Well, after the club, they all hop in the Chevy Tahoe and they head their way home. As they're driving up Interstate 95, they have no idea that people have been following them since the club parking lot. Well, at 2:15, they pull off the interstate and are forced to stop at a red light. This is when 3 cars surround them and roll down their windows. The car is absolutely torched and everyone inside is hit. After being rushed to the hospital, thankfully, Queso and his father survive. But Willie, sadly, he doesn't make it. As a father, taking your son to his first performance, and for this to happen, I can't even imagine.
The man who died was Robinson's 25-year-old son, Willie Addison, who was an aspiring rapper.
His dad, Abdul Robinson, was driving.
I guess 2-3 cars pulled up on the side of us, shot inside our car over 100 times, killed my son in the front seat, shot my son in the back, in the head 3 times, shot in the back myself twice.
It's a story hard to imagine, but Robinson says it was reality and he had to act fast.
Now, here's the important question. Is Fulio evil enough to call a hit on his own cousin and uncle just to get to Queso? Or at least, if you knew that your cousin and uncle were in the car, why would you allow this to happen? Well, in case you had any doubts, Fulio would respond in the most evil way possible.
Wow.
He posts on his story, "Now I'm smoking on my cousin Willie."
Bro. Oh, wow. This dude is okay. I mean, I guess.
Crossing family lines over street beef and now saying that you're smoking your own cousin who you used to look up to. This dude Fulio is absolutely heartless, and from what we know, this tragic incident completely split up Fulio's family for good. Well, as you would expect, this tragedy would not come without consequence. Understandably, Queso was hurt beyond comprehension, and now he wants revenge on Fulio in any way possible. And that takes us to February 25th, 2019. It's a typical Monday afternoon at Fulio's mom's house, and Fulio and his little homie are hanging out on the couch.
To join the Cisco, my main expectation was to step into a larger scope and tackle much more complex projects. And Cisco has matched this perfectly.
This would be a 16-year-old Hilltop resident named Adrian Garner, also known as Lil Bibby. Well, Bibby is restless and he doesn't want to be inside doing nothing. However, Fulio being more grown and knowing everything that's going on, he advises Bibby to not go outside.
Don't walk nowhere, bro. Sit here with me until it's time for you to go wherever you need to go, you know what I'm saying? Wait till the sun go down or something.
Bibby, being young and reckless, does not want to hear this.
Man, I ain't worrying about none of that, man. I'm yada yada yada, man. I don't even care, man. I'm in the hood all day. I'm hanging, you know what I'm saying? He like, man, I'm finna go to Hilltop. That's where I'm from. I'm like, no, bro, I love you, bro. Be safe, you know?
So against Fulio's wishes, Bibby heads off by himself to the Hilltop Projects. At 3 o'clock, he arrives to the front gate and hops out of his Uber. Coincidentally, as he's walking towards the gate, Queso happens to be spinning the block. Unfortunately, he spots Bibby, recognizes him as Fulio's friend, and he decides to run down. So while Bibby is gingerly walking and not paying attention, Queso is walking up right behind him. Sadly, he has no mercy.
I'm gonna say 20 to
First, while he's grieving, the rivals give him a taste of his own medicine. Shortly after the incident, Queso would put out a song clowning Bibby and admits to doing it. You know me, chump Queso, I smoked Bibby. Then he says he was 16 and I took his soul right up off the streets. This dude Queso is cold just like Fulio, but kind of understandably, after being targeted and losing his brother Willie, he really wanted revenge. You took my brother Willie, so I'm gonna take your lil homie Bibby. In addition, after allegedly doing this, he continues to troll online.
Yeah, we smoking on Bibby, you already know. Oh, he smoked that Bibby, that's nationwide and smoke Bibby to the face. I'm finna trademark Bibby, he's finna be on like Google and shit, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like 16-year-old got shot the up. I say, how long I'm gonna put that boy ass on Google. Smoking on the Bibby. I heard they let out 60. We don't show no pity. We don't show no pity.
Of course, Fulio is more than pissed, and as you would expect, he sends a blitz. I want Queso gone. Now. After allegedly knocking down Bibby, Queso makes the smart decision to stay out of Jacksonville. In particular, he goes on tour with Young and Ace, which removes them from the city for quite some time. Here we are in the small country city of Waycross, Georgia, located about an hour north of Jacksonville. Here, Queso and other ATK members are ducking low and staying away from the beef. In particular, they're barbecuing and listening to music at a hotel pool, not thinking that anyone will find them. But somehow, after posting videos on their stories, the rivals deduced exactly where they are. So while and his boys are sitting back enjoying, the KTA hitters are on their way. After taking the hour and a half drive, the hitters arrive at the hotel at 6:30. They instantly hop out of their truck and run to the pool area, and that's where they see their rivals. Bam! They start blowing, and Queso and his boys are blowing back. It's an ugly scene, and sadly it claims the life of an ATK member named Rollo.
And so far, there have been no suspects arrested according to the Waycross Police Department. However, they do believe that this stems from an ongoing conflict. A local artist, Kenyatta Bullard, whose stage name is Young and Ace, survived a shooting that ended with 3 of his friends dead in 2018. Now he is tied to another deadly shooting that happened Sunday morning at the Hampton Inn in Waycross, Georgia. Chief of Waycross Police Anthony Tanner says there is more than one shooter.
Any further, Bullard, whose stage name is Young and Ace, was scheduled to perform in Waycross on Saturday. It's unclear if he was staying at the hotel or just visiting. Now, on social media, a guest who was staying in the hotel recorded video of the aftermath of the shooting, but we are still waiting to get permission from him to show you that video.
Take a 3-week no-cost trial with Purdue Global to see if we're right for you. Explore more than 175 online programs made for working adults who want more opportunity and recognition. Learn more at go.purdue.
The lesson here is that whenever you do something to Fulio, he's gonna get back and it doesn't matter where you are. But of course, this is a game of back and forth, and just a couple months later, Fulio would lose yet another friend. On May 7th, a close friend of Fulio named T. Shots would lose his life while leaving a corner store in West Jacksonville. Now it's body for body on both sides, and the murder rate in Jacksonville is skyrocketing. And in addition to the bodies dropping, both sides keep clowning and self-snitching online. Like as the beef progresses, the dissing gets more and more disrespectful, even to the point where Fulio clowns devastating situations that he literally had nothing to do with. And that takes us to the mysterious case of Young and Ace's homie Corbin. Essentially, Corbin is a teenager who went to a job interview in the morning, and later that night he was reported missing. Well, when he went missing, a lot of people assumed that Fulio and KTA had something to do with this. But in reality, it was a completely different situation that had nothing to do with beef. Well, sadly, in July of 2019, Corbin's body parts would be found in a forest near Jacksonville. And as it turns out, he was set up by an ex-girlfriend to be robbed, and then they took him out to the forest and unalived him. The saddest part about it is that Corbin was a good kid and had literally nothing to do with the streets.
Corbin Johnson's remains were found in a wooded area of northwest Jacksonville. Still, no arrests have been made. News4Jax reporter Alicia Hatcher spoke with Johnson's mother. Alicia, Johnson's family, they're still hoping for justice.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says foul play was suspected because of the way the body was positioned.
And I really couldn't identify him. I could tell you every day I went to work, I would have my days, I would cry, come back to my desk, work. I seen him on a picture, and I wish I hadn't, because I can't unsee that.
His mom, Melissa Jackson, will never forget the day his remains were found.
They identify him from, he hurt his arm, and it was the chip that was in his arm from his surgery. I was told that, when you were out there that long, really none of you is left.
The grueling and devastating situation is no laughing matter, and just because he hung out with the Aces does not mean that you should disrespect his name. But in typical evil Foolio fashion, he uses this as an opportunity to clown. At first, he goes on Instagram Live and brags about how he could never be kidnapped.
The Corbin really did got kidnapped, like, he got abducted. Do you know how much sense that makes? Because when you grown, you get abducted. You don't get kidnapped, like, type shit. That man got abducted, real shit, like, that's my worst feeling, kidnapping me, I swear to God, bro, like, that man got kidnapped, bro. Lost and found type, like, I swear to God, on the news it said that man bones got found, like, that man bones got found, just bones, I swear to God.
On top of this, he even puts Corbin in a song by saying Corbin got kidnapped, they found his bones, he was robbed. Then in another song he says Corbin got kidnapped, how a grown man goes missing. I understand that beef is beef, but at what point do morals come into play when we're dealing with the innocent? Before all this, Florida boys were known for being laid-back players, but now this new evil drill rap
is really ridiculous.
You can almost say that Foolio single-handedly turned things cold-hearted in his city, and of course, all the dissing of Corbin would come with consequences. January 5th, 2020. It's an early Wednesday morning and an ATK member named Butta receives some vital information. Specifically, a girl that he messes with informs him that she knows the location of a very close friend of Foolio. She tells him that Foolio's right-hand man named Lil Buck will be at a temp agency later in the morning. Obviously, Butta is excited about the drop and he instantly hits up his fellow stepper named Queso. Queso was also excited when he receives the news and he quickly heads over to Butta's. With no strategy or second thoughts, the duo now get ready to slide. They put on masks, remove their license plate, grab blowers, and head out to the location. At 7 in the morning, they park in front of the temp agency, waiting for Lil Buck to arrive. From what they know, he's going there to train for a job and to change his life around. But regardless of him not being a factor in the beef, they still want to stamp him just because of his association with Foolio. So for hours, they patiently wait for Lil Buck to show up at the office. Hours and hours go by and there's no sightings of Lil Buck. At this point, Queso figures that they're being set up or that simply Lil Buck isn't coming. So together they decide to give up and they head down the street towards a shopping center. They're hungry, so they pull into the parking lot looking for restaurants. Then as Butta is driving around, he randomly notices Lil Buck on his left. So quickly, Butta makes a U-turn and follows Lil Buck through the parking lot. He then tells Queso to mask up and get ready. I'm gonna pull right alongside him. Well, Buck has no idea that he's being followed, so he parks his car and gingerly gets out. And that's when allegedly Queso hops out of the...
How far can your apps go? Meet Base 44. Dropped it. Foundation set. Structure's good to go. Now, build it up from there. Plug in your integrations. You get exactly what you need the moment you need it. Want to write your own code? Push and pull from GitHub as you go. Own your workflows and environment. When you want that visual impact, drop in any NPM library and watch it come alive. With security built in, keep your data safe every step of the way. Ready? Deploy in one click with full control and zero compromise. Base 44. Build it your way.
Car and does the business. Queso allegedly hops back in the car and they speed off quickly. After they exit the parking lot, they figure they're in the clear, but little do they know an off-duty police officer saw the entire thing. So as they're speeding down Merrill Road, Butta notices the cop car behind him and he begins to panic. This is when Queso panics as well and comes up with the worst idea possible. He turns to Butta and yells, "Bust a U-turn, I'm gonna spray up the cop car." Butta disagrees and responds, "No the hell you not, watch, I'm about to get us gone." He continues to smash on the gas and he busts a sharp right into a neighborhood. He loses control and smacks right into a pole. Thankfully, Butta and Queso are both okay, and they hop out of the car and run into somebody's backyard. With no better plan, Queso decides to smash somebody's sliding door and jumps inside the house. Butta follows him and says, "Yo, what are you doing?" At this exact moment, the homeowner runs downstairs and sees them in the living room. That's when they whip out on him and tell him to bring them to the closet. So he takes them upstairs expecting to be robbed for his jewelry. Instead though, they simply ask him for a change of clothes, which he obviously gives up. So they put on collared shirts and khakis, hoping that once they go outside, the police won't recognize them. Obviously this is but it ends up working out. Somehow when Queso and Butta look outside, there's no police in the vicinity. So they instantly call a friend to come pick them up, and 5 minutes later an orange Charger is there. They casually walk outside, hop in, and the Scat Pack is off in the distance. Somehow they completely duck police, at least for the meantime. Regardless though, what they just did is the definition of crashing out. All because you hate Fulio, you're willing to crash out on his mans and risk your life in prison. That's crazy. Either way, Butta and Queso assume that they're in the clear and they're excited that they eliminated yet another of Fulio's friends. Even though they can't seem to get to Fulio, they're dedicated to eliminate anything associated with him. And sadly, this includes women too. On May 8th, 2020, Fulio's girlfriend would be shot while driving on a Jacksonville interstate. Thankfully though, she would be okay after being rushed to the hospital. Well, in typical Fulio fashion, he and his girl would go on live showing that she's okay.
Y'all thought I was dead. Yeah, she ain't underscore just yet. Y'all ain't underscore just yet, that boy.
Regardless though, Queso and Young and Ace would take to the internet to clown the situation.
Oh, don't look right. You finna cheat on her ass,
At this point, we've entered demon territory, like there's no respect or morals on either side. Like you can't get to Fulio, so you're gonna target his innocent girlfriend? Well, as we know, Fulio was built for this nonsense, and KTA would sadly return the favor. Like, oh, you're gonna target my girlfriend who has nothing to do with the beef? Watch this, I'm gonna target somebody on your side who has nothing to do with it as well. June 25th, 2020. It's a regular Thursday afternoon in East Jacksonville, and a 40-year-old man named Busta is grabbing food at the Jack's Market. Busta is like a childhood uncle to Young and Ace, but he has nothing to do with his politics or anything in the streets. Well, little does he know, because of his connection to Young and Ace, he's now a target. At 5:15, he casually walks out of the store, and right there a gray Sonata stops in its tracks. Then 3 masked men hop out of the car and run down on Busta. This was yet another heartless retaliation on somebody who had nothing to do with anything. Because he was like an OG figure in the community, a lot of people questioned why this happened and who was responsible. While rumors started to hit the streets that not only did Fulio call for this, but he was the one who actually did it himself.
Yeah, Fulio is with the business, man.
Granted though, the rumors are all over Reddit and Twitter, so you kinda have to take that for what it is. But regardless of if he's actually responsible or not, his lyrics would not help his defense. Directly after the incident, Fulio would drop a song called CCG, which stands for Closed Casket Gang. In the song, he disses Busta by saying Chi-Chi was 40 years old running from bullets like a teen. Busta, he ain't have no face. So not only does he allegedly eliminate a 40-year-old OG, but then he disses him disrespectfully in a song. All of this to get under Young and Ace's skin. Sadly though, this would only be the beginning of Fulio's evilness. So now let's shift our focus to the other side, as Young and Ace keeps getting bigger and bigger and his pockets are getting fatter as well. This means he has more funds to amplify the beef. When your pockets are fat, you can get spanked. boy. Like at the beginning of the beef, as long as you stayed out of Jacksonville, you were pretty much safe. But now with money involved, anyone can cash in on your head. For whatever reason, Fulio doesn't realize this, and after the elimination of Busta, he flies out to Houston to lay low. In fact, he books a 2-week Airbnb where he can record music, party, and you know about the girls in Houston. Well, during his extended trip, he also goes to a block party with a famous local rapper. And that takes us to July 6, 2020. While at the block party, Fulio makes the dumb decision to go live and show his location.
Hold on. That Moochie. Yeah, guys, shit. Hey man, we live, gang. Yeah, man. Boo. Oh yeah, with it. We're in the middle of Texas. Yeah, bro, what you say, gang? In the middle of the month. Yeah, man. Florida in this bitch.
He goes on live to show what he's got going on, not knowing that there's people on his trail. Well, eventually police arrive and the block party clears out by 8 p.m. with Fulio still standing outside. As he's standing outside by himself, a black Nissan with tinted windows begins creeping up the street. Because he's out of town, he doesn't really think anything of it until the car gets right up on him and rolls down their window. They begin dumping at Fulio. He quickly runs behind a nearby car and begins dumping back. At this point, the car pulls off and Fulio notices that he's hit. So his friends quickly rush to him, throw him in the car, and take him to the hospital. He was grazed in the head, but thankfully he ends up surviving. For most people like me, this would be a terrifying incident, but for Fulio, he doesn't seem to care and he goes on live during the whole process.
Don't kill me. Oh, Kendrick. You're fucking stupid.
You had a situation in Houston where you actually got grazed in the head?
I got grazed in the neck. They put like some little, I forgot.
Hiring shouldn't be a job in itself. With Upwork, it isn't. Upwork is the one-stop shop.
They put on there like you good, like you ain't got no entry on or nothing. You just got grazed by the glass and a little bullet frag and you good.
Fulio was finally met with some consequences for everything he did. Kind of. Either way, the big question now is who did this, especially because it happened in Houston. Well, Young and Ace's right-hand man and fellow rapper named Fast Money Goon would admit to it in a song. I was lurking on his page and caught him lacking in Houston. We let off shots, then he went live, and I was like, we didn't get him. So yeah, pretty much Young and Ace's homie Fast Money Goon admits to doing this to Fulio. So now if Fulio ever needed more motivation for revenge, this incident would do it. You target me when I'm out of town enjoying myself, and then you put my name in a song? That's not gonna fly. And as you would expect, bodies would start to drop in the streets of Jacksonville. In fact, following this incident, 3 ATK members would lose their lives back to back to back. First, on September 9th, an ATK member and close friend of Young and Ace would lose his life while leaving the Regency Mall. Then, on February 21st, 2 more ATK members would lose their lives. These would be notable ATK members and close friends of Young and Ace named B5 and Michi. On the night of February 21st, they went to a Lil Durk concert, enjoyed their time, and simply went back to sit in their car. At 1 in the morning, while they're sitting in their car after the concert, a man simply walks up to the window. And just like that, 3 aces are gone in retaliation for what they did to Fulio in Houston. At this point, the bodies are piling up tremendously on both sides, and it would be hard to imagine that the beef gets even worse. And on top of this, with ATK taking so many losses, you'd almost imagine that they'd throw the white flag. Okay, maybe that's too far, but at least you'd think that they'd want the beef to kind of calm down. But nope, at this very time, Young and Ace does the complete opposite as he releases one of the most disrespectful diss songs in rap history. On March 28th, 2021, Young and Ace drops
Who I Smoke.
The entire song is dedicated to making fun of Fulio's dead friends and explaining how they lost their lives. From Lil Bibby, Trey D, Techie, Zion Brown, and plenty more. The mainstream industry had never seen anything like this before, name-dropping dead ops and trolling how they died. That's just blasphemous to everyone. So for weeks, the song blew up everywhere and pretty much everyone was trolling Foolio. The song pretty much had all of the rap world assuming that Foolio was some sort of victim, but we know that that's definitely not true. As we know, Foolio already has a short temper, so can you imagine how he received this song? Basically, the whole country was singing along to disses to those who were closest to him. Can't even imagine. So instead of playing the sympathy role, he decides to fire back in the most disrespectful way possible. Now that all of his dead family and friends were broadcasted to the world, he decides to do the same to Young and Ace, but even in a worse way. In his response called When I See You, he records the music video at the graveside of Young and Ace's brother. On top of this, he holds up a poster showing the deaths of 2, 3, 4, and Quan, and basically makes fun of how they died. The entire song is flat out evil, and the rap world was literally shocked. And this is when the world is introduced to the character of Foolio. The world understands that he's a cold demon who has no limits on his disrespect. Because of the shock value, it elevates his fame, and of course it pads his pockets. At this point, he has enough money to leave Jacksonville for good and to take the closest people with him. But when you're this knee deep in a beef, there's somewhat of a pride of staying in your city, like I ain't running from no one. So even with all this fame and fortune, Foolio stays his butt in the trenches of Jacksonville. Although he tries his best to stay low-key and to move with caution, staying in Jacksonville definitely catches up with him. November 8th, 2021. It's a Monday evening and Foolio's headed to a studio session in Jacksonville's Riverside District. Because it's located in an upscale area, he figures he can go there completely unnoticed. So at 8 p.m. he arrives, parks his car in a residential area, and walks down to the studio. As he's in there recording bangers, his homies are recording selfie videos clearly showing him at the studio. Of course, they post them on their Instagram stories, and subsequently the rivals notice. Aw shit. Somehow they deduce exactly which studio he's at and they head there instantly. Obviously they know that Foolio's with a bunch of hitters, so ambushing the studio is not a smart idea. So when they arrive at 11:30, they simply wait down the street and observe what's going on. They're unsure if they'll be able to do anything, but their hope is that Foolio somehow walks outside by himself. They wait in their car for 20 minutes, and then out of nowhere they notice Foolio walking out of the studio. Oh my goodness, there he is walking by himself up the street. They wait for him to make it up Ernest Street away from their sight. This way if they turn on their car he won't be alerted. Then they head around the block and head down Ernest Street hoping to face him head on. When they bend the corner they notice he's right there opening his car door. So instantly two of the members hop out of the car and Foolio hears them coming. They start blowing at him from down the street and Foolio starts blowing back. 100 shots go off in under 10 seconds and Foolio runs out of ammo.
I get to the driver's side of the door, I open the door. As soon as I get to sit down a little bit, blowing.
Enjoy free shipping with Webstaurant Plus.
This ship's free, this ship's free, all of this ships for free. This ship's free, everything.
So I lean back, I go to shoot back. I shoot my whole clip and shit.
So at this point, while the ops are still thundering, he runs behind some cars for coverage. Foolio figures that they got the best of him, but thankfully the ops are Ben Simmons in the clutch.
I run back to the front of the house. It was a white dude came outside. He like, what happened to you? Good? I ain't even looking at my leg at first. I'm like, yeah. He like, man, your leg's bleeding. He like, you want me to take you to the hospital? I'm like, damn.
Foolio, for whatever reason, in the moment he assumes that if he goes to the hospital it might look suspicious. So instead, he simply wraps up his leg and waits for police to arrive.
I basically got to see the situation under control, you know what I'm saying? So the police come, ask me what happened, what gun I shot with. I give them the gun and they put me in the back of the police car till the crime scene was cleared. And they let me go.
This could have easily been the end of Foolio, and on some level he kind of knew that. To say the least, it certainly shook him up and is the reason he temporarily would leave Jacksonville.
I ain't gonna count, bro. I was hearing them gunshots for like a week, just thinking about that shit. Like every time I go to sleep, I just think about that shootout and the gunshot. I'm like, damn, I could have been dead, boy. That shit was traumatizing.
So now the demon rapper coincidentally heads for LA to focus on music and stay out of the streets.
It's the place to be.
Still though, he's able to focus on his music career, stay out of trouble, and of course elevate his music career. He's able to maintain this for nearly 2 years, and during this time, the beef in Jacksonville has completely quieted down. However, because of his silly pride and his itch to be in the trenches, he eventually returns to Jacksonville. And of course, as soon as he touches down, he's right back to causing chaos in the streets. That takes us to October 6, 2023. The king is finally home and he's already making demands in the streets. It's been way too quiet in Jacksonville and Foolio wants to see some action on the rivals. So allegedly, he spontaneously decides to put $20,000 on a rival's head. In particular, this would be Queso's blood cousin named Antonio Tilly. Why he targets him specifically? Well, from what the rumors say, Tilly did some serious damage on Foolio's side. So quickly the word gets around and some hitters step up to the plate. One of which would be a man named Jaquan Mills, who definitely needs the money and also realizes that cashing in will not be easy. Basically, Tilly is not the type of guy you're just gonna catch in traffic, you better put a plan together. So quickly Jaquan comes up with a plan which involves his girlfriend Diamond Harris. So basically Diamond slides in Tilly's DMs talking spicy.
Babe, I want you. I want to see your daddy.
Of course, Tilly falls for the bait and they set up a plan to meet up. He's excited to pull up at her house tonight, thinking he's about to have the time of his life. So at 6:30 p.m. he hops in an Uber headed for North Jacksonville. Tilly's in the Uber with nothing but "You Feel Me" on his mind. At 6:55, the Uber arrives at the location on Kylan Drive and Tilly hops out without paying attention to his surroundings. The second he steps out of the Uber, he's absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree. Sadly, not only did Tilly lose his life, but so did the innocent Uber driver.
A call for the community to rally around the family of an Uber driver who was shot and killed last month.
The Justice Coalition held a news conference today asking for help and resources for the family of Bryant Grun.
A family forced to start over.
I can't even tell you how this has affected her family.
Yet more senseless violence in the streets of Jacksonville, allegedly at the hands of Foolio. Well, once word gets around of the passing of Tilly, the rivals desperately want Foolio's head. Later this same night, Foolio is out and about in the streets of Jacksonville by himself like nothing just happened. In fact, to make matters worse, at 10:30 p.m. he decides to head to the rivals' hood. In particular, he goes to their local store, I guess to show them that he's not worried about anything. This is my city, I'm back, and I call the shots. So at 11 p.m. he parks his car outside of the rivals' Magic Market and simply walks inside. So while he's shopping for a vape, he's actually recognized by somebody who's affiliated with the other side, and from there an argument sparks. The man questions him like, "What are you doing on this side of town?" And Foolio's like, "Man, get the hell out of my face, man." For whatever reason, Foolio isn't intimidated and he buys his vape and gets back in his car. Now from here, he plans on joyriding around the city for the rest of the night. So he pulls out of the market, heads up the road, and pulls a right on 18th Street. And as soon as he turns the corner, his light flashes in front of him. Two men with choppers start blowing down his whip. Foolio tries his best to speed away, but sadly he smacks into a car. The assassins figure that they finally got him, so they gladly speed away. This time, Foolio is gravely injured, but thankfully an ambulance arrives. He's quickly rushed to the hospital where he undergoes an extensive surgery. While he's in surgery, his mom breaks the news from his Instagram page. Keep Foolio in your prayers, he was shot last night in his hating city. I mean, he is the hater in his city. But either way, everyone hopes he survives. Well, the next morning, the doctors present the news that Foolio did in fact make it. This was the closest call yet, and it just goes to show how quickly the streets of Jacksonville respond. You got our homie hit at 7 o'clock, and by 11, you were hit up yourself. Well, because of this, Foolio leaves Jacksonville not only to recover and to duck the rivals, but also to duck investigations. The loss of Tilly and the Uber driver was a major deal in the city, and he figured that it was only a matter of time. 13 days later, October 19th, 2023.
A Jacksonville double murder earlier this month was part of a $20,000 gang hit, according to an arrest warrant. We just received these mugshots of Jaquan Mills and Diamond Harris, arrested last week in the murder of a local teenager and a man who was driving him for Uber. Community advocates say this shows how out of control gang violence is here in our city. News4Jax reporter Vic Micolucci tells us detectives believe the victims were set up.
A high-dollar hit. Jacksonville detectives believe this October 6th double murder in Moncrief was not random. Instead, it was a gang-related contract killing worth $20,000.
The dollar figure that's attached to that is fairly high.
We found this information in the arrest reports for 22-year-old Jaquan Mills and his girlfriend, 23-year-old Diamond Harris. Detectives believe Harris lured one of the victims, 19-year-old Antonio Tilley Jr., who thought he was meeting her for a date. Investigators accuse Mills of killing Tilley instead, collecting half of the bounty on his head. Police say they've identified another suspect involved in the murder, but they're still trying to track that person down. Tilley's Uber driver was caught up in the violence and also killed, shot in the car he was driving to make a living.
After finding the DMs between Diamond and Tilley, police were able to completely open up the case. From there, it pretty much gave them everything they need to know except for who called the shot, who put the $20,000 on Tilley's head. Both Jaquan and Diamond discussed the $20,000 over text, but they never mentioned Fulio's name. They pretty much just called him the boss. Now, of course, if Jaquan and Diamond are smart, they can use this as leverage to get less time and snitch on Fulio. Now, of course, you'd assume that Fulio would be nervous about this, but instead, he's only focused on getting revenge for who lit up his car. And once he finds out who did it, he allegedly put $60,000 on their head. Ooh-wee, things are getting serious. This time, the alleged bounty is on an ATK associate named Tiger Sparks. Tiger! On January 4th, 2024, somebody cashes in on the check. Sadly, while posted up on Odessa Street in East Jacksonville, Tiger Sparks is sparked. At this point, Fulio's feeling untouchable. Every time you guys try to get me, I send something back and eliminate your homies. I mean, honestly, the fact that he survived this long is pretty remarkable, especially given that he just roams around the city of Jacksonville. He's basically like that cockroach at Granny's house that just roams around, and every time you try to
kill it, it just goes under the couch or the fridge or something, you know?
Most locks open in seconds. Most people never know they were targeted. He had 11 layers they didn't know existed.
After surviving all of these beefs and shootings and everything, Fulio somehow approaches his 26th birthday. I mean, just think about it. From surviving his early childhood in Hilltop, to what happened to his dad, to what happened in high school, and then all the beef. It's pretty much insane that he made it this far. So given all that, his 26th birthday is a major cause for celebration, and Fulio knows this. So of course, he wants to do his 26th birthday weekend in the biggest way possible. Now, of course, celebrating in Jacksonville would be way too dangerous, even though that would be something that Fulio would do. But instead, he decides to play it smart and party 3 hours away in the city of Tampa. Still though, as we know, 3 hours away may be way too close for comfort. And to make matters worse, weeks ahead of his birthday, he decides to post flyers promoting the events. Aw, hell no. Of course, this tells the rivals weeks ahead of time exactly where he'll be on his birthday. Definitely not a safe move. But at this point, Fulio just doesn't care. He's showing out and basically saying, if you want to come get me, come get me. And that takes us to his birthday weekend, June 21st, 2024. It's a Saturday afternoon and Fulio is hosting a pool party at an Airbnb with his family and friends. The plan is for everyone to stay at the Airbnb for the whole weekend, not just use it for a pool party. However, by 7 o'clock, a neighbor calls 911, they're all kicked out of the party and Fulio no longer has access to the Airbnb. So now he puts everything in his car and gets ready for his first club appearance of the night. At 9:30, he and his boys head out to the Teasers nightclub for the first appearance. He arrives to the club, it's